Chapter 1101, Two True Inheritances. Chapter 1101, Two True Inheritances. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. With He tribe's current situation, should I interfere? Fang Yuan thought about it. There was much he could do here. Even though He tribe was a super force, part of the Huang Jin family, they were weak among the super forces of northern plains. Moreover, they were besieged on all fronts now. They were facing the entire northern plains Gu immortal world. The outcome was obvious. He tribe was going down in flames. Even if they were unwilling to give in, how could one tribe resist the entire Gu immortal world? Unless they had a rank 8 Gu immortal to defend them, but He tribe did not have such a person. He tribe's top 4 supreme elders could form the ancient battle formation Green City Rampage and had battle strength that could contest with that of a rank 8 to an extent. But this was the only trump card that He tribe had. Fang Yuan became more enticed as he thought about it. To him, the situation was a mess now. Everyone wanted to gain profits from He tribe. In this situation, he could definitely gain something. Don't forget, Fang Yuan had a huge advantage. He had a Gu immortal captive, He Cheng. Gu immortal He Cheng was not like ordinary He tribe Gu immortals. He had authority. He was trusted by the top 4 supreme elders. He tribe's top 4 supreme elders encountered a problem when using the ancient battle formation Green City Rampage, causing them to be unable to distance themselves from one another. They could only give up some authority. He Cheng was their spokesperson. He managed the affairs of He tribe, and knew clearly about the situation in the whole of He tribe. He Cheng was in Fang Yuan's hands. He naturally had methods to search souls and wills. Fang Yuan was a wisdom path grandmaster. He Cheng could not defend against him. Right now, Fang Yuan had more clear knowledge about He tribe than those Huang Jin tribes who were targeting it. He knew deeper and more specific information. With the support of his intel, Fang Yuan had a huge advantage compared to them. Within He tribe, there was a key thing which attracted Fang Yuan. That was, the He Fan true inheritance. He Fan was once a Gu immortal of He tribe. He was a famous person in history, but he had died long ago. In the past, He Fan cultivated time path. He reached rank 8. He controlled He tribe and made it an overlord back then. It was quite powerful even among super forces. Those were glorious times. But his lifespan was limited. After He Fan died, He tribe slowly became weaker, while some of the other super forces rose up. Before He Fan died, he left behind his true inheritance, but none of He tribe's descendants could inherit it. The true inheritance of a rank 8 Gu immortal, if one inherited it, they might become a rank 8 Gu immortal in the future. If He tribe had a rank 8 Gu immortal, they would not be in this situation. In the world of Gu immortals, rank 6 Gu immortals were at the bottom, rank 7 Gu immortals were in the middle, while rank 8s were the top brass. If He tribe had a rank 8 Gu immortal, even if He Lu Lan was the main culprit behind the destruction of 88 True Yang building, they could still withstand it. The existence of a rank 8 Gu immortal was crucial to the deterrence of a super force against others. Even if this rank 8 Gu immortal were to be faced with pressure by many other rank 8 Gu immortals, they would at most only need to pay a huge price in resources and compensation to protect the tribe. The current situation was not like that. He tribe had many Gu immortals, but they could not defend the tribe. He Fan true inheritance. Fang Yuan muttered, his eyes were shining deeply. In my current situation, the biggest obstacle is Heaven's will. And Heaven's will's strongest methods are calamities and tribulations. Each calamity and tribulation is a gamble. I am targeted by Heaven's will. It is too dangerous. And the interval between each calamity is 2 months. This is simply too short. If he had more time, Fang Yuan could deal with the calamities and tribulations after more preparation. But Fang Yuan's body, coming from the sovereign immortal fetus, was simply too absurd. Its existence defied heaven. It could not be allowed to remain. However, man is the spirit of all living beings. Gu immortals were incredibly intelligent beings. Predecessors had thought of countless ways to deal with the short durations between calamities and tribulations. Among them, the most popular were time path methods. Lanyap Blessed Land did this. Long Hair Ancestor had once asked a time path great expert to slow the rate of time in Lanyap Blessed Land. This way, the interval between calamities and tribulations was longer. After Long Hair Ancestor died, this was left behind. This gave Lanya Land Spirit lots of time to prepare and get ready for all the calamities and tribulations. I do not know any time path Gu immortal. Even if I once was in contact with Tai Bai Yun Sheng, he could not slow the time in the immortal aperture. Fang Yuan knew about Tai Bai Yun Sheng's inheritance, because he had once soul-searched Tai Bai Yun Sheng in Imperial Court Blessed Land. But in fact, not all time path Gu immortals had methods to slow time in the immortal aperture. Tai Bai Yun Sheng was a good example. Even if I know any such time path Gu immortal, or approach them now, my sovereign immortal aperture is an extremely important secret. It is too huge of a deal. How can I let any time path Gu immortal know about it? It is hard to trust anyone. I might as well rely on myself. If I can obtain the He Fan true inheritance and slow the time in my immortal aperture, that would be great. Ordinary time path true inheritances might not have a method to slow the time passing in the immortal aperture. But the He Fan true inheritance was extraordinary. It was left behind by the rank 8 He Fan. In the history of He tribe, it was recorded, when He Fan was alive, he had slowed the time in many immortal apertures of He tribe Gu immortals. This way, the He tribe Gu immortals could deal with their calamities and tribulations with more ease. There was a greater chance of success. As time passed, the number of He tribe Gu immortals exceeded other super forces. With the rank 8 Gu immortal He Fan as deterrents in northern plains, and with countless rank 6 and 7 Gu immortals in He tribe, this created a glorious time of prosperity in He tribe's history. Fang Yuan knew clearly about the history of He tribe through the captive He Cheng. Blazing Heaven Demoness knew about this too. She had a time path injury. It made the rate at which time passed for her very fast. She had to become an immortal zombie. To cure her injury, Blazing Heaven Demoness formed a scheme, sending her sister Su Xian heir to He tribe, attempting to obtain the He Fan true inheritance and heal her. Instead, her sister fell in love with He Cheng and gave birth to He Lu Lan. It became a story of love and hatred. All in all, as long as Fang Yuan could obtain the He Fan true inheritance, he could slow the rate of time in his immortal aperture. Once the rate of time in his immortal aperture slowed down, Fang Yuan's circumstances would change drastically. Even though slower time meant that production of resources would also be slower, and his cultivation level would also rise more slowly, it stabilized the situation. Fang Yuan's pressure and difficulty in cultivating would be lower by a huge margin. The advantages outweighed the disadvantages. He Fan true inheritance. Fang Yuan became more enticed as he thought about it. To him, this was a crucial way to get out of his situation. If I want to leave and go to He tribe, participating in this chaotic battle, there are many ways to do so. This precious information is my first advantage. Secondly, I have dark limit immortal Gu to conceal my aura. Heavens will cannot find me. And thirdly, I have familiar face and change form immortal Gu to disguise myself. I can mix in with the chaotic bunch moving in. Should I go? Fang Yuan thought over it. He decided to observe from the sidelines. He did not go immediately. The situation over at He tribe was too chaotic now. Righteous path, demonic path, even lone immortals were participating in the raid. The scene was a mess. Countless experts were moving about, appearing continuously. Among rank 6 Gu immortals, there were bottom-tier Gu immortals like Old Lu, and also ordinary Gu immortals like Qing Xian Zi. There were even Zhuozhan, Divine Lord Tian Du, Shi Ho, and other experts. Among rank 7 Gu immortal experts, there were Unfettered Scholar and Pai Shui Han. According to some vague rumors, it seemed like Heavenly Lord Baizu and Old Ancestor Shui who were also active in this. Fang Yuan looked at the situation. The time was not ripe yet. This was only the start. Many forces and Gu immortals were taking over He tribe's resource points. These Gu immortals were far from reaching the headquarters yet. All sorts of forces were restricting one another. It was very chaotic. Countless people rose up and fought. they competed to decide who would get to keep the resources. If Fang Yuan went now, he would be implicated, no matter who he disguised himself as. And Dark Limit Immortal Gu's protection only lasted for a while, it could not be used for long. And most importantly, there was Heaven's Will. Heaven's Will could make arrangements against Fang Yuan. What did Heaven's Will know? Heaven's Will was inside Spring-Autumn Cicada, with Spring-Autumn Cicada around Fang Yuan, Heaven's Will might know of his plan beforehand. During the transactions with Sixth Hair, Shadow Sect had told Fang Yuan, Heaven's Will was vast, it was everywhere. Heaven's Will covered the area of the 5 regions and 2 heavens, this was a huge advantage, it knew much information and secrets. Because of many reasons, Fang Yuan could not act casually. He decided to wait until He tribe's situation became clearer, once he could see the situation clearly, he would be able to take action. The key of this was still one word, speed. Accumulating strength, and striking immediately, before leaving rapidly. There was no better tactic. Fang Yuan waited patiently, using Xianxia sect, he could gain information about the outside world. Days passed by. The battles involving He tribe continued to aggravate. Countless Gu immortals got involved, some won while others lost, countless schemes were used, it was like a huge spiral, and this spiral was expanding, sucking in even more people. At this rate, the spiral was becoming chaotic and uncontrollable. Many secluded cultivators could not resist the temptation, they appeared. There were people like Fang Yuan as well, biding their time. Days later, in Myriad Bean Garden. I tried my best, but the other party is hiding inside an immortal aperture, there are no results. Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Xianxia Xi inside, showing some embarrassment on his face. Is that so? Disappointment could not be concealed on Chudu's face. But, I have made some other gain. Xianxia Xian suddenly said. Oh. What do you mean, Brother Tian? Chudu was perplexed. Immediately, he saw that Xianxia Xian returned Flying Sword Immortal Gu to him, he pointed at the Immortal Gu and said, this Flying Sword Immortal Gu is not simple, there is an insignia left on this Gu. I have already deciphered this insignia, it is the key to an immortal's true inheritance. What? There is such a thing. Chudu was surprised, he was greatly interested, is this the Sword Path true inheritance of Sword Immortal Bochin? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1102, Planning. Chapter 1102, Planning. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. No. Hearing Chudu's guess, Wisdom Path Gu Immortal Xianxia Xian shook his head. This insignia is made from an information path method, according to my deduction, it is an information path true inheritance. But the location of the true inheritance is not in Northern Plains, but Eastern Sea instead. Eastern Sea, information path true inheritance. Chudu frowned, his expectations fell drastically. If it were a sword path true inheritance, there was little hope of him cultivating it anyway. The reason was simple, he cultivated strength path, his foundation in strength path Dao marks was deep, it was difficult for him to cultivate other paths. But sword path had strong attacking power, and because of the historical records of the legendary pseudo-immortal venerable Bochin, Chudu gained a lot of curiosity. The moment he heard information path, the curiosity faded. Chudu was a highly accomplished character who naturally knew the advantages of information path towards his cultivation, but he was straightforward and had grand ambitions, he had a preference for strong offensive methods instead. He was known as the Domination Immortal, there was a saying, there are only wrong names, not wrong titles. Chudu could not cultivate sword path or information path, of course. In this world, throughout the past, present, and future, Fang Yuan was the only one who could cultivate all paths. If other Gu immortals wanted to cultivate a second path, they would need to spend a lot of time and effort. Unless there was a special situation, or if they had an exemplary immortal Gu, most would not do something like this with great disadvantages, it was not wise. Seeing Chu Du's expression, Xianxia knew what he was thinking. He quickly explained, "Brother Chu, don't look down on this insignia. According to my deduction, this was carved onto Flying Sword Immortal Gu at a later time. Such an information path method is unheard of. It was an eye-opener. This is definitely not ordinary." Chu Du's expression became serious. After the reminder, he felt that Xianxia's words made much sense. If the carving was done on ordinary rocks or walls, that was normal. But it was done on a Gu worm, that was very rare. And this was Flying Sword Immortal Gu, a rank 7 sword path Gu. Man is the spirit of all beings, Gu are the essence of heaven and earth. When Gu immortals cultivate and undergo tribulations, they would gain more Dao marks in their bodies. Meanwhile, immortal Gu were fragments made of Dao marks. The Dao marks of different paths would resist and conflict with each other. This information path insignia had a trace of information path Dao marks within it, but it could be carved on a container of sword path Dao marks, and be kept for such a long time. This was like a ship floating in the sea, unmoved by all the currents around it. In this case, the information path method was simply extraordinary. "Brother Chu, can I negotiate with you?" Xianxia suddenly asked. Chu Du smiled lightly. He was not a wisdom path Gu immortal, but he understood what Xianxia was going to say. Chu Du waved his hand, interrupting Xianxia, saying, "Brother Tian, please don't blame me. This Flying Sword Immortal Gu is not mine to begin with, it belongs to my friend. My friend had gone missing, so I got worried and wanted to deduce his location. The opportunity on this Immortal Gu also belongs to him." The deductions of wisdom path Gu immortals did not come from thin air, they needed clues. The more clues there were, the easier the deduction could be done. Thus, wisdom path Gu immortals often had a great desire towards information path methods. Xianxia was originally not interested in most information path methods, because he had inherited old immortal Tian Yuan's extraordinary wisdom path inheritance. He had very high standards. But because this information path true inheritance was too high quality, even a Gu immortal as reserved as him was interested. "I see, I was too abrupt." Hearing Chu Du's rejection, Xianxia felt dejected, but he still returned Flying Sword Immortal Gu to Chu Du. This rank 7 sword path Immortal Gu was used to deduce for clues, it was not the payment for his services. Of course, Chu Du asked Xianxia to make a deduction for him. He paid a hefty price. The deduction did not succeed. According to the rules, I will take only half of the payment. Xianxia looked at the Flying Sword Immortal Gu in Chu Du's hands longingly. He sighed and said this. Chu Du shook his head, laughing, "No need, even though my goal was not achieved, it was not for nothing. Brother Tian is indeed the #1 wisdom path Gu immortal in Northern Plains, it was worth the price. I will take my leave." Chu Du was the domination immortal, but he was not a rash person lacking interpersonal skills. Xianxia was one of the few wisdom path experts in Northern Plains. He would likely need his help again in the future. How could Chu Du worsen their relationship? This. Xianxia hesitated. But Chu Du had already left. He did things quickly and resolutely. He left without hesitation. When he left, he was quite happy. The rank 7 Immortal Gu flying sword was already very precious. Now that it also had an information path true inheritance clue, Chu Du felt that Fang Yuan would never give up on it. This way, he had a way to pressure Fang Yuan. I must obtain the method to draw out reckless savages' true meaning no matter what. Chu Du felt a flame burning inside him. Xianxia saw Chu Du leaving, he sighed helplessly. If it were others, he might have gone ahead to snatch it. But that was the domination immortal. Chu Du only cultivated strength path, while Xianxia cultivated wisdom path, but Xianxia did not have the courage to scheme against Chu Du. Strength path was declining like the setting sun, while wisdom path was precious and rare. But throughout history, there was no strongest path, only a strongest Gu immortal. No path or Gu worm could be known as the strongest. Man is the spirit of all living beings, Gu are the essence of heaven and earth. To humans, Gu worms were just tools. Time passed, the commotion in northern plains intensified. The web around He tribe was starting to tighten. Like what Fang Yuan had predicted, He tribe was resisting the entire northern plains Gu immortal world. How could they win? Even though He tribe's Gu immortals resisted strongly, they still lost bit by bit, with no hopes of winning. The intense aura of blood attracted more and more hungry sharks that came after He tribe's immense assets. He tribe headquarters, Iron Eagle blessed land. Right now, He tribe's Gu immortals were gathered. There was a gloomy atmosphere. He Cheng's 4 top supreme elders were seated at the highest position. He Cheng was captured by Fang Yuan, his good friend He Bai was injured. The other 6 He tribe Gu immortals were all rank 6. The atmosphere was heavy. The tribe is facing a calamity. We are all pillars that hold up He tribe. Let's talk about it. How can we survive this crisis? First Supreme Elder initiated, breaking the silence. But He tribe's Gu immortals simply looked at one another in turn. Nobody said a thing. This was not the first meeting. In the earlier meeting, they were participating actively. Some suggested that they should fight back strongly. They should punish and take down all those who try to infringe on He tribe's property. Of course, their goal was to achieve peace. Peace could only be obtained after fighting. He tribe's Gu immortals were not stupid, they knew this. Unfortunately, even though they understood this, He tribe's Gu immortals could not rival so many enemies. Even though they fought back, they were forced back. Almost all of He tribe's Gu immortals were injured now. One rank 6 Gu immortal even died. Second Supreme Elder sighed. If not for the fact that an accident happened when we used Green City Rampage, causing us to be unable to separate, the situation would be much better now. He tribe occupied a lot of resources, but He tribe Gu immortals were few, and most of them were rank 6. Against the attacking forces, He tribe was too weak, and had little battle strength. They could not control the situation. It is all because of He Cheng. This person is a sinner of our tribe. That daughter of his caused this mess. He even lost our immortal Gu house dark prison. He truly deserves death without sympathy. A He tribe Gu immortal scolded angrily. Indeed, indeed. He Cheng is a heinous sinner. At once, He tribe's Gu immortals spoke agitatedly. He Cheng lost the immortal Gu house dark prison. It was truly a huge mistake. Otherwise, with Dark Prison and the 4 Elders' Green City Rampage, the situation would not be this terrible. First Supreme Elder was silent. Dark Prison was originally his, he had lent it to He Cheng. He Cheng was the one who lost Dark Prison. First Supreme Elder was also to blame for trusting the wrong person. During usual times, the 4 top Supreme Elders trusted He Cheng deeply, allowing him to manage matters in the tribe. The criticism and scolding of the He tribe Gu immortals was also vaguely expressing their unhappiness towards the 4 Supreme Elders, but they could not say it directly. After a while, Third Supreme Elder could not stand it anymore. He said, "Enough, at this point, the matter has already happened. What can cursing do? We are in a crisis now. If cursing could save us, would have done it long ago. We are all members of He tribe with the same bloodline. If the tribe is wiped out, none of us will be spared. You should all know this." Once he said that, the berating stopped. Fourth Supreme Elder coughed. "Regarding our current situation, if anyone has any input, you can mention it." The immortals were silent. The difference in strength was too huge. There were no effective strategies. "I have something to say." At this point, a rank 6 Gu immortal spoke. Everyone looked over. It was He Bai. This immortal cultivated wood path. He had rank 6 cultivation level. When he was young, he was known as the He tribe stoneman. He was a man of few words. Normally, he was close to He Cheng. They had a deep friendship. "Speak, we are listening." "I want to see what great idea you have, He Bai." The Gu immortals spoke in cold tones. They hated He Cheng. That hatred extended to He Bai as well. He Bai's expression did not change. He was like a rock, saying solemnly, "In this situation, I do not need to speak much, you are all aware of it. Not only the righteous path and demonic path Gu immortals, even lone immortals are coming to get a share. The only reason for this is due to benefits. Everyone kicks a man who is down, the survival of our tribe is most important. As long as we survive, be it resources, benefits, or reputation, they are all things we can give up. You want us to surrender? Our tribe had traitors like He Lulan and He Cheng, Imperial Court Blessed Land was also destroyed, do you think the Huang Jin families would let us off? Some Gu immortals immediately mocked and sneered. He Bai shook his head, the Huang Jin tribes will not let us off, but there is one person in Northern Plains now who can help our He tribe escape this crisis. Who? He Bai said a name. The immortals heard this and were all shocked. Author's note, guess who? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1103, Chaos in Northern Plains. Chapter 1103, Chaos in Northern Plains. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The sun was setting, there was beautiful light in the horizon, it was blazing like fire, showing a scenic view. A light wind was blowing, the golden wheat fields were swaying along. This is the wheat field that He tribe cultivates with great care, it is truly huge and majestic. Gu immortal Lu Qingming floated in the air as he looked down, saying plainly. He tribe had planted a huge amount of wheat here. This wheat was known as the golden wheat, it matured once every 2 years, but it was not meant to be consumed by humans, it was a type of metal, called metal essence. This place was originally a barren desolate land. Because it had too high of a mineral content, even causing the formation of mines, no plants would grow here. He tribe planted this golden wheat, making use of it to excavate the resources here, they had put in a lot of time and effort for the project. Thus, this wheat field forming an immense area was created. Even though Lu Qingming was in the air now, he could not see the borders of this field. There was another person beside Lu Qingming. His name was Su Guang, a light path Gu immortal. He looked at the wheat field below him passionately, He tribe's wheat field is famous in Northern Plains. Every time it is harvested, at least 500,000 kilograms of metal essence is obtained. The metal essence is a huge source of revenue in He tribe. Even though the metal essence is a rank 5 mortal material, we have little use for it, but it can be sold in bulk for a good price. Lu Qingming smiled before nodding, it is worth taking. I would urge you both to not be foolish, my Guan tribe is taking this. A figure appeared along with the voice, standing in front of Lu Qingming and Su Guang. He had a stern expression, he was emitting strong battle intent, the third eye on his forehead was very eye-catching. Lu Qingming and Su Guang looked at each other, reaching a consensus. They had sensed that there were other Gu immortals' auras here, they spoke earlier without taking physical action in order to lure out the Gu immortals. So it is Guan Shenjiao of Guan tribe. Lu Qingming said politely. The traveling 3 elites, I have heard of you. But after Dong Fong Chong Fan's incident, Gu immortal Han Dong is already dead. If you try to act forcefully, I am afraid the traveling 3 elites would be completely wiped out today. Guan Shenjiao was not polite at all. He was a Guan tribe Gu immortal, Guan tribe was a super force, part of the Huang Jin family, he had enough confidence. Su Guang laughed, you are in the righteous path, while us brothers are in the demonic path. Righteous and demonic are opposing sides, will we retreat now? We have to fight and determine the winner. Guan Shenjiao snorted coldly, attacking directly. At once, immortal aura rampaged, light burst out, the 2 sides engaged in fierce combat in the sky. 2 figures, one big and one small, were flying parallel to the ground. Grandfather, where are we going? The smaller one was only a teenager in appearance, he asked with an expression of curiosity. Hee, my dear grandson, we are going to Gushing Spring Forest. Do you know about it? The larger one was an old-looking Gu immortal, he wore a yellow robe, his huge sleeves were fluttering in the wind. The youngster's eyes moved about, Gushing Spring Forest is a forest of water pillars formed from underground geysers. It is said that there are countless water path and earth path Gu worms there. It is a precious territory of He tribe. Good, I did not teach you in vain. Dear grandson, don't you cultivate water path? We are going to Gushing Spring Forest now. Let's see if there are any water path mortal Gu that you want. If we are lucky, we might even obtain some of the springs. We can place them in my immortal aperture. When you becoming an immortal, I will transfer these resources to you. The old Gu immortal said. The youngster showed a look of gratitude. He asked worriedly, Grandfather, you are only a bottom tier rank 6 Gu immortal. What if you die after entering He tribe's territory? The youngster spoke without restraint. The old Gu immortal was not angry. He laughed as he explained to his grandson, more than 10 days ago, He tribe's Gu immortals had already gone back to their headquarters. Right now, He tribe's other territories are unoccupied. He tribe's Gu immortals are not around, but what about other Gu immortals? Didn't we hear that those old demons like Pai Shui Han are also getting involved? The youngster was still worried. You don't understand. The old Gu immortal was confident. Even though Gushing Spring Forest is an important territory, compared to the others, it is still inferior. Experts like Pai Shui Han would not want to come here. The closest super forces near He tribe are Lu tribe, Guan tribe, and Yao tribe. We cannot snatch the resources of territories near these tribes. Those close to He tribe's headquarters are also untouchable. Those important treasures are for these experts to fight over. Even if we watch from afar, we will be in danger. Considering this, Gushing Spring Forest is the safest and wisest choice for us. So that's it. The youngster realized. The sound of wind was loud. The two got closer to Gushing Spring Forest. Suddenly, the old Gu immortal's expression changed. He heard the sound of intense battle. Oh no! The old Gu immortal's expression sank. He quickly flew into the air. At this moment, the sun was high in the sky, sending down blazing rays of light. Gushing Spring Forest could be seen by the grandfather and grandson, but the place was a chaotic mess. The tranquil Gushing Spring Forest had been ravaged. It was in disarray. Spring water was spraying everywhere. Explosions were occurring constantly. Looking over it, there were nearly 10 Gu immortals in battle. At once, the two looked at each other bitterly. They could tell others had the same plan as them. There were many wise bottom-tier Gu immortals. In the sky, dark clouds were looming, rain was drizzling. Two groups were facing each other in the sky of this ordinary plain. Guan tribe and Lu tribe. Guan tribe had 3 Gu immortals, while Lu tribe had 2. The atmosphere was not heavy. The leaders of the two sides were talking warmly. If not for the weather, they might even look like they were having a tea party. Lord Third Supreme Elder, we have the advantage. Why don't we strike and occupy this place? Over at Guan tribe, Gu immortal Guan Xianxia could not stand the frustration. He transmitted this. Guan tribe's Third Supreme Elder was talking with the other party, but he also transmitted to Guan Xianxia, you are foolish. Have you forgotten the lesson a few days ago? By attacking rashly, you caused a bigger chaos. We could not defend the golden wheat field. Other demonic path Gu immortals snatched it. A fragment of immemorial red heaven is hidden in this place. It is very important. Who knows how many people are aiming at this location? But my Guan tribe and even Lu tribe each can be considered to have half the local territorial advantage. Thus, we are on the surface the two competing for it. At this moment, we cannot act rashly and attack without reason. Once we do, we would lose control of the situation. Outsiders would come in to steal the fruits of our labor. Guan Xianxia was scolded severely. He showed shame on his face as he transmitted, Lord, you are right, I was too rash. Ingwu Xie, Shenu, He Lulan, Tai Bai Yunsheng, all 4 of them appeared. This is the island. Ingwu Xie looked around, letting out a breath of air. Fong Yuan, this is the turbulent flow sea area. Tai Bai Yunsheng guessed. He had once roamed in Eastern Sea. he could differentiate the locations of Eastern Sea. Xianxia smiled. That's right, Master had given me information about this secret base, we can rest and recover here. Currently, he was still using Fang Yuan's identity to deceive Tai Bai Yunsheng. Among these 4 Gu immortals, Tai Bai Yunsheng was the only one who was unaware of the truth. Xianxia willed. After a while, he waved his hand, saying, "Follow me." Immediately, a certain arrangement was activated in this place. He Lulan and the others' field of vision changed. When they regained their senses, they were already under the island. This place was a hollow that was previously dug out. A beautiful 5-floored palace was right in front of them. This is an immortal Gu house. He Lulan was shocked. Shadow Sect was a huge force. There were arrangements in all 5 regions. Even though Etian Mountain was a failure, the remaining forces were not to be underestimated. But what happened next was more shocking to her. The 3 immortals followed Xianxia, going inside the palace. The palace doors opened on its own. It recognized Xianxia's identity and welcomed the owner. This is so many immortal Gu. Once they entered the palace, Xianxia and Tai Bai Yunsheng could not help but cry out. Xianxia explained while smiling, the turbulent flow sea area is a hugely advantageous location. It has a collection of the world's currents running through here, among them is a tributary of the River of Time. Thus, even though this is not a blessed land or grotto heaven, it is a rare place to store treasure in the 5 regions. My Shadow Sect had already found out this tributary of the River of Time long ago. We made this arrangement on the island. We dug out the island's interior and put an immortal Gu house here, drawing strength from the River of Time to refine Gu. Thus, once in a while, immortal Gu refine themselves. Tai Bai Yunsheng had a guess already. He could not help but ask, "Don't tell me, this immortal Gu house is the legendary Regret Pool?" Xianxia nodded before shaking his head. This is only most of Regret Pool. Even though we have Regret Pool's greatest ability, the Gu refinement aspect, its attack and defense are horrible. Once it is placed, it cannot be moved. Tai Bai Yunsheng heard this and was shaking from excitement. There are 3 great pools in this world, Heavenly Pool, Regret Pool, and Wine Pool. They are famous in the history of the 5 regions. To think that I can get to see Regret Pool today. He Lulan was less well informed. She had less information regarding time path compared to Tai Bai Yunsheng. She asked, "Refining immortal Gu is extremely difficult. This Regret Pool is only an immortal Gu house. It can refine so many immortal Gu by itself." Xianxia smiled and explained, "Regret Pool is a time path immortal Gu house. Its Gu refinement ability is both amazing and weak. When Shadow Sect's Gu immortals refine immortal Gu successfully here, we will leave an insignia behind. When the immortal Gu is destroyed, Regret Pool can be activated, using the power of the tributary of the River of Time and the preserved insignia to refine the immortal Gu again. The success rate is about 50 to 60%. 50 to 60%. He Lulan was shocked by the extremely high chance of success. There are flaws too. After succeeding in the Gu refinement, the insignia would vanish. Gu immortals have to replenish it themselves. And if not for this hidden tributary of the River of Time, it would be too hard to activate this effect. It cannot be used much. Xianxia added. He Lulan still had shock on her face. She looked at the immortal Gu in front of her as she sighed, deeply moved. Even so, it is very strong. Xianxia laughed as he raised his head. "We are in a dangerous situation. You have all lost your immortal Gu. The immortal Gu here are compensation. Pick what you want. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1104, Treasure Yellow Heaven Opens. Chapter 1104, Treasure Yellow Heaven Opens. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Shadow Sect's remnant forces were truly not simple. Right before He Lulan and Tai Bai Yunsheng, there were over a dozen immortal Gu. But looking at these immortal Gu, the joy on their faces faded gradually. "I have the great strength true martial physique, but there are no strength path immortal Gu among these immortal Gu. He Lulan shook her head, she said with a regretful tone. Sigh. Fang Yuan, you know that I cultivate time path, if I use these immortal gu. Tai Bai Yunsheng was in the same state, there were no time path immortal gu among these immortal gu. Most of the immortal gu were soul path. Shi Nu was silent, he was an earth path gu immortal, there were 2 immortal gu here which were earth path, but his original immortal gu were still around anyway. Wuxia nodded, the smile on his face did not fade. He knew that these were immortal gu that were destroyed during the Battle of Tian Mountain. These last days, the immortal gu house regret pool had activated, using the insignias left behind and the tributary of the river of time to refine these immortal gu again. Thus, most of them were soul path, there were time path ones, but the refinement had failed. As for strength path immortal gu, there were none. That great strength true martial physique immortal zombie, Dali, was a rare cultivator of both wisdom and strength path, but when he refined strength path immortal gu, Shadow Sect had not yet built regret pool, he did not leave behind any insignia to refine gu. No problem. You are all worried about conflicting Dao marks, I have a special method to allow you to cultivate another path, without having it clash with your original main path. There is such a thing. Tai Bai Yunxing stared with wide eyes that were almost popping out. Shi Nu's emotionless face had also changed. This method was simply unheard of. He Lulan squinted her eyes, she was suspicious that Wuxia was trying to increase his control over them, she felt that this was a scheme. She spoke, how can there be something as good as this? There has to be a downside, with such a special method, the drawback has to be severe. Wuxia smiled, I can assure you, there are no side effects. He looked at He Lulan deeply, his gaze becoming darker. He had thought of Fang Yuan, feeling some gloominess. Compared to sovereign immortal fetus Gu, what was so surprising about having 2 non-conflicting paths? Shadow Sect had researched and created sovereign immortal fetus Gu, it could allow Dao marks of all paths to coexist without any conflict between them. Inside the door of life and death, Spectral Soul had devoured the souls of countless Gu immortals, obtaining an immense amount of cultivation experiences. Using 100,000 years to prepare, he had raised a multitude of paths to Great Grandmaster. Shadow Sect had the method to cultivate 2 paths since long ago, it was their initial version. At its final state, it was Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu. To refine Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu, Shadow Sect spent 100,000 years, using up the whole of the foundation of Shadow Sect and Zombie Alliance, they even had to involve Spectral Soul's main body to succeed. But even the best laid plans could go awry. Even though Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu was refined, at the final moment, Fang Yuan took the fruits of their labor. Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu was a one-time consumable Gu, Fang Yuan had already used it, there was no Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu left in this world, it could theoretically be refined again. However, the cost and risk to refine a second one was too high. Even Wuxia did not have any confidence in it. Thus, Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu was essentially never going to appear again. Unless I can capture Fang Yuan and use him as the main immortal material to reverse refine it. However, now is not the time to deal with him. I need to increase my strength, I need to gather the remnant forces in Eastern Sea and save my main body first. Wuxia sighed internally, Shadow Sect and Fang Yuan had a score to settle, but he had his priorities. Now was not the time to fight against Fang Yuan. Time passed quickly. Northern Plains, Langya blessed land. Since Fang Yuan's second earthly calamity, more than a month had passed. Treasure Yellow Heaven had still not opened, there were no changes. Fang Yuan's plan of managing his immortal aperture was greatly affected, left with no choice, he could only try to cultivate while deducing, placing his focus on the chaotic scene in Northern Plains, he obtained information about the situation regarding the He Fan true inheritance. The earthly calamity occurred every 2 months. More than a month had passed already, in less than a month, Fang Yuan would face the 3rd earthly calamity. Time in this world passed unceasingly. Fang Yuan could sense the 3rd calamity already. What made Fang Yuan worried was, the third earthly calamity would be more dangerous than the second. And at the moment, his strength was not much higher than during the second earthly calamity. If I can obtain the He Fan true inheritance, I can likely make use of the immortal Gu to slow the rate of time in the immortal aperture. This way, not just the third earthly calamity, even against future calamities and tribulations, I would have a great advantage. Fang Yuan obtained a lot of intel from He Cheng. The He Fan true inheritance was very impressive. It came from the rank 8 time path great expert, He Fan. If he could obtain this true inheritance, he would be able to enter He Fan Grotto Heaven. Not only could he become the Grotto Heaven's owner, he could even obtain the time path immortal Gu inside. Many Gu immortal true inheritances only had immortal Gu recipes and immortal killer moves, they lacked immortal Gu. This was because the feeding of immortal Gu was very difficult, it was hard for them to live for long, and to be inherited by successors. But He Fan true inheritance was different. Because the immortal Gu that He Fan left behind were still in his immortal aperture. For ideal management of a Gu immortal's immortal aperture, the first requirement would be that the immortal aperture satisfies the feeding requirements of their immortal Gu. Gu immortals like He Fan were like the rank 8 Gu immortal Yao Huang in the current northern plains. The management of his immortal aperture was definitely ideal. If Fang Yuan could obtain the He Fan true inheritance, his capabilities would rise drastically. Once he slows down the rate of time in the immortal aperture, the dangerous situation would be lifted temporarily, or even settled completely. He would not be in this current situation, like he was walking on a tightrope. If he was careless, he would end up dead. These last days, due to Xianxia sect, Fang Yuan gained a lot of intelligence regarding the chaos in northern plains. That was not to say that Xianxia sect was skilled at gathering intelligence. It was the opposite. Because of the hairy man Gu immortals' identities, they could not obtain information easily, far inferior to the former fairy Li Shan. The crucial reason was, Northern Plains chaos was too big, the entire Northern Plains Gu immortal world was involved. Their conflict could be kept from mortals, but to Gu immortals, nothing could be concealed at all. A lot of intelligence did not need to be looked into to be found, they were available openly. Even though Fang Yuan was in Xianxia blessed land, he was very closely watching this situation. He tribe was bearing too big of a blame, they were in a moment of crisis, at the risk of facing extermination. Righteous path, demonic path, and lone immortals, all three factions were like hungry wolves coming at them. Looking at Northern Plains map, He tribe was at the southeast area of Northern Plains. They had a huge territory and controlled many resources. These resources attracted the greed of countless jackals. Initially, these wolves could still be restrained, but with immense benefits attracting them, demonic path Gu immortals started to fight. The conflict between righteous and demonic continued to intensify. A notable event was the battle between Guan Shenjiao and the traveling two elites. Guan Shenjiao was outnumbered, the two demonic path Gu immortals managed to snatch the golden wheat field. Thereafter, large numbers of Gu immortals joined in. With demonic path Gu immortals like the traveling three elites, Old Lu, Half Moon Brutemaster, and Zhuozhan, they competed over the resources of He tribe. The scene was chaotic, the righteous path were caught off guard by them. Gushing Spring Forest was faced with a destructive plunder. Under such a situation, He tribe's hundreds of years of management had gone to waste. The righteous path Gu immortals became increasingly alert, they started to coordinate. Even with competing for the fragment world of immemorial Red Heaven, it was such an important resource, yet they still restrained themselves and did not go all out. The Gu immortal world had always been led by the righteous path. Particularly Northern Plains righteous path, they were all part of the Huang Jin family, they had the same origin. The demonic path Gu immortals lost their momentum, but soon, as more than half of the resources were split among them, Unfettered Scholar and Pai Shui Han, these rank 7 Gu immortals started appearing, causing another wave of chaos. For the first time, the demonic path was pushing back the righteous path. At the start, He tribe's Gu immortals were still defending their territories, but after experiencing some hardship, they gathered their remaining Gu immortal battle strength and hid inside their headquarters, refusing to come out. This undoubtedly gave rise to the arrogance of the demonic path Gu immortals. Besides that, there were other reasons. Like earlier, old ancestor Shui, who had defeated Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu, as a member of the demonic path, he became the top expert in Northern Plains. And most importantly, the collapse of 88 True Yang building caused immortal Gu to fly around randomly. Large numbers of demonic path and lone cultivator Gu immortals benefited. Afterwards, Qin Baixing held an auction. Many Gu immortals obtained immortal Gu that were compatible to them. Their battle strength rose drastically. This caused the powers of the whole of the demonic path and lone cultivator forces to rise. They were able to contend with the righteous path now. I destroyed 88 True Yang building and Imperial Court blessed land. In just a few years, this influence spread throughout Northern Plains. The current Northern Plains is already drastically different from the 500 years of my previous life. Fang Yuan sighed internally. The situation in Northern Plains had completely changed because of him. The other regions were still fine. But in Northern Plains, Fang Yuan had lost most of his rebirth advantage. Of course, ever since he knew about Heaven's will, he had become quite suspicious regarding his so-called rebirth advantage. Fang Yuan waited patiently. Many resources in He tribe enticed him. But he did not take action. The most important resource in He tribe was the He Fan true inheritance. Fang Yuan could see this clearly. Some days later. Eventually, Fang Yuan obtained information that Northern Plains Gu immortals were attacking He tribe's headquarters. The He Fan true inheritance is hidden in He tribe's headquarters. It is time to act. Fang Yuan immediately left. He was very resolute, using the transportation formation to leave Langya blessed land. Langya land spirit supported his actions. Because this was a good chance to observe Northern Plains Gu immortal world, and become aware of all the respective forces' strengths. If they were lucky, they could obtain a lot of benefits. Langya land spirit did not dare to send Langya sex hairy man Gu immortals over, but Fang Yuan was a human and he was very crafty, a very suitable person to go. Fang Yuan did the same thing again. The moment he appeared in Northern Plains, he used dark limit, familiar face, and other methods to conceal his identity. At the same time, he used sword escape immortal Gu and blood torrent to travel rapidly. He moved very quickly. He encountered no trouble. Northern Plains Gu immortals were mostly gathered in He tribe's headquarters. This allowed Fang Yuan to travel unhindered. Not long later, He tribe's headquarters was right in front of him. He Fan true inheritance, I'm coming. Fang Yuan thought to himself, but he did not expect that Treasure Yellow Heaven had opened at this very moment. It was getting heated. Treasure Yellow Heaven's reopening caused all of the Gu immortals who were waiting patiently to burst out with enthusiasm. Fang Yuan stopped moving. He fell into great hesitation on whether he should continue or go back. He received a piece of information coming from Treasure Yellow Heaven. Fang Yuan opened it and looked. It came from Chu Du. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1105, He Tribe's Huge Battle, 1/3. Chapter 1105, He Tribe's Huge Battle, 1/3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. 2 days later. Blue skies and white clouds, the sun brightly shone in the sky. The surroundings were vast expanses of plains. One had unhindered vision. 2 Gu immortals from Yao tribe floated in the air. They did not conceal themselves, they showed themselves confidently to everyone. A female Gu immortal, Yao Ju, had a round face. She smiled. Today's weather is great, my mood has gotten better because of it. Beside her, another female Gu immortal from Yao tribe, Yao Zihan, also sighed. The weather is great, we are in a good mood, but it is the opposite for He tribe. Her eyes shined with purple light, looking down at the empty grassland below her with much interest. On the other side of the cloud, there were 2 male Gu immortals sitting. Both of them were middle-aged, they had thick beards, they wore armor and had exposed arms, bulging with muscles. Both of them were not wearing shoes, and their pants were very short. almost showing their knees. The only difference was, one of them had charcoal black skin, while the other had dark yellow skin. These were distinctive of two members of another Huang Jin clan. It was Meng tribe. Meng Ji had dark yellow skin. He stared at the two female immortals from Yao tribe as he said, "That is Yao Zihan, her eyes radiate purple light, that is because of Yao tribe's signature killer move, purple jade eyes, this pair of eyes can see through blessed lands and grotto heavens. Yao tribe has a clear awareness of the situation inside Iron Eagle blessed land." Meng Si, on the other hand, looked up and called out, "No big deal. If we really compete, our fists will do the talking." Saying so, he suddenly raised his head, looking towards the east. Only to see that aurora burst out in the east, golden light radiated as a beautiful palace flew over. Gong tribe is here. Impressive, they even brought their tribe's immortal Gu house, Golden Dawn Hall. Gong tribe is very determined. Gong tribe has always been acting like this, they emphasize on extravagance, don't bother about them. The righteous path Gu immortals conversed. Most of their attention was on Iron Eagle blessed land. Iron Eagle blessed land was the headquarters of He tribe. It was a public blessed land, placed in just one tiny spot. If the entrance was not open, the outside world could not observe it. Unless they had immortal killer moves similar to Yao Zihan's purple jade eyes. The righteous path Gu immortals were patiently waiting. According to what they knew, the demonic path Gu immortals had already joined up and attacked. As it turned out, during this chaos in Northern Plain, a rank 7 demonic path expert called Huang Di had interfered. He had high cultivation level, and had obtained the true inheritance of a legendary person in Northern Plains, the Earth Path great expert Di Lao. He had methods to attack the blessed land. Because Iron Eagle blessed land was a public blessed land, it was assembled together and did not have the defense of a normal blessed land. Demonic path Gu immortal Huang Di went out first, bringing a bunch of demonic cultivators and lone immortals to attack. At some point, Iron Eagle blessed land was bound to collapse. That way, it would be full of loopholes. Even if the entrance was not open, righteous path Gu immortals could enter freely. Everyone, Gong Air, would like to invite everyone to attack He tribe together. Outside Gong tribe's immortal Gu house, Golden Dawn Hall, an old rank 7 Gu immortal dressed in a golden robe spoke. "It's that old fellow Gong Air, our information was right, he indeed came. Gong tribe wants to lead over everyone. If we enter their hall, he would definitely be the alliance leader. This is Gong tribe's habit. But Gong tribe brought their immortal Gu house here, they have the strongest power among us righteous path members. Who would be so foolish to let Gong tribe lead them?" The righteous path Gu immortals sneered internally, nobody moved. Gong tribe was a Huang Jin tribe, a super force. Their supreme elders had grand ambitions, wanting Gong tribe to be the leader of the righteous path. But among Huang Jin tribes, none would submit to each other. Earlier, Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu had worked together but lost to old ancestor Xuehu. The last remaining righteous path rank 8 Gu immortal was Prince Feng Xian. He was a member of Gong tribe. Gong tribe had been spreading news that only Prince Feng Xian could rival old ancestor Xuehu, thus, they grew in boldness. Gong Air stood in front of the immortal Gu house. He thought that he would be well received by the righteous path, but after a long time, nobody moved. There was not even any response or acknowledgement. Even though he was old and experienced, his expression could not help but turn ugly. Baizu tribe's Gu immortals greet senior Gong Air. At this time, 3 Gu immortal flew over, getting close to Gong Air. Among these 3, the leader was a rank 7 Gu immortal, while the other 2 were rank 6 Gu immortals. The 3 immortals were humble, they smiled and emanated warmth. Gong Air's expression soothed. He felt that the 3 Gu immortals from Baizu tribe were amicable, and now, he could save his face, quickly inviting these 3 immortals into Golden Dawn Hall. The righteous path Gu immortals who saw this had complex expressions. Because Baizu tribe was not of the Huang Jin bloodline, they had just become a righteous path superforce. This was due to the famous rank 8 Gu immortal Heavenly Lord Baizu. Heavenly Lord Baizu was a lone cultivator, but after the collapse of Imperial Court Blessed Land, he saw hope of creating his own superforce. In the current northern plains, righteous path superforces were mostly Huangjin tribes. To become a superforce, Heavenly Lord Baizu got closer in his relationship with Yao Huang, working with him to deal with old ancestor Xuehu. Even though they lost against him in a 2-against-1. But Heavenly Lord Baizu's goal was achieved. He gained Yao Huang's friendship, and Yao tribe's recognition. Heavenly Lord Baizu could create his Baizu tribe with his bloodline descendants. Baizu tribe's Gu immortals were all nurtured inside Heavenly Lord Baizu's grotto heaven. Even though there were few of them, right now, during these chaotic battles in northern plains, Heavenly Lord Baizu sent 3 to participate. Baizu tribe. Humph, these Baizu tribe Gu immortals are as crafty as Heavenly Lord Baizu. We have differing viewpoints than Gong tribe. This caused Baizu tribe to gain benefits instead. The righteous path Gu immortals were mostly part of the Huangjin bloodline. They had dominated northern plains. Even though there was internal conflict among them, they were more resistant towards outsiders like Baizu tribe. It is a pity that Baizu tribe is protected by Heavenly Lord Baizu. We cannot touch them. Even so, we have many ways to deal with them. They want to establish a super force in northern plains. Heh. It is not so easy. At once, the righteous path Gu immortals gathered and discussed on how to deal with Baizu tribe. Boom. The immortals had just started talking. Before they had gone any further, they heard a loud explosion. Countless gazes looked down. They saw that on the grassland, space shattered like a broken mirror. The broken shards showed a gigantic expanse of scenery. The scene inside Iron Eagle Blessed Land was shown in front of everyone. Right now, killer moves like purple jade eyes were no longer needed. The immortals could see what was going on. All of the righteous path immortals' attentions were drawn. Inside Iron Eagle Blessed Land, there was chaos. Large numbers of demonic path Gu immortals were competing for He tribe's resources and treasures. Some were looting, some were fighting aggressively. Crackle. Lightning shot everywhere, causing rocks to shatter and fly. Many deep pits were formed, they were charred black. Divine Lord Tiandu was covered in sparks as he shouted, "The lantern grass here is mine, who dares to compete with me?" Old Lu and the others looked at each other. They could see that their gazes were filled with much wariness. Divine Lord Tiandu had gained 2 lightning path immortal Gu. His battle strength rose drastically. We should retreat. That's right, this place is filled with treasures. Why must we compete with him? These Gu immortals were, without exception, all rank 6 bottom-tier Gu immortals. They quickly discussed this matter and left. At the other end, a desolate beast Iron Crown Eagle cried out weakly, trampled by a boar. There was a demonic path Gu immortal on the boar's back. He was burly and wearing armor. He held a pair of bronze hammers as he said smugly, "You are just a lowly beast, you dare to sneak attack me?" Saying this, his expression suddenly froze. He looked towards the east. A peacock was flying over. Immortal aura emanated as it spoke clear human language, Zhuozhan. "Oh, it is Fairy Hero." Zhuozhan's expression changed. He smiled and tried to leave a good impression on her. Peacock flying immortal Hero, rank 6 transformation path Gu immortal. Trade the desolate beast under your feet with mine. I have just captured a desolate beast shadowless horse. Hero suggested. Zhuozhan's eyes flashed with brilliance. He quickly nodded, "Sure, let's trade. I am very willing to accede to Fairy's request, he. At another end, wind was intertwining like willows. It could be seen with the naked eye. Gusts of wind was moving about continuously. A figure descended from the sky. He said with agitation, "To think that a rank 7 immortal material, green jade wind, is here." It was the rank 7 Gu immortal expert Pai Shui Han. "Brother Pai, this immortal material is mine, go elsewhere." A figure appeared as well. It was a scholar with graceful and elegant bearing. Pai Shui Han's pupils shrunk. He said coldly, "So it is you, unfettered scholar." Unfettered scholar smiled calmly. He was also a rank 7 expert. his reputation and abilities were not inferior to Pai Shui Han. Last time in Tai Chiu, we did not decide a victor, let's fight now. Pai Shui Han took the initiative to request for a battle. Unfettered scholar's smile faded. I heard that Brother Pai has created a new immortal killer move, let me take a good look at it. All sorts of situations were occurring, the righteous Path Gu immortals were watching them unfold. Because of the demonic Path Gu immortal Huang Di, these demonic scoundrels had the initiative. No need to worry, Iron Eagle Blessed Land has a special structure, it is famous for nurturing desolate beast iron crown eagles. There is little ground in there, but the sky is huge and vast. The truly valuable thing are those round ball wooden eagle nests. Humph, simply a rabble. Hey Tribes Gu immortals have not shown themselves yet, the core resources have not even been uncovered, but they are already fighting among themselves. The righteous Path Gu immortals were ready to strike. But at this moment, a figure shot down at lightning speed, he was so fast, in an instant, he entered Iron Eagle Blessed Land. Who is he? He has sword path cultivation. It is a junior from Nian Air tribe. I think his name is Nian Air Ping Ji. The righteous Path Gu immortals were shocked, this person had been concealed, he did not interact with any of the other immortals. Who is it? In the blessed land, Xianxia sensed something, he raised his head and called out. Sword light flashed across at an incredible speed. Xianxia was beheaded. The person who killed you, Nian Air Ping Ji. Sword light flashed by as a voice could be heard. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know to report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1106, Hey Tribes Huge Battle, 2 of 3. Chapter 1106, Hey Tribes Huge Battle, 2 to 3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Xianxia might only have rank 6 cultivation level, but he had undergone a heavenly tribulation already. Yet he could not put up any resistance and was killed by Nian Air Ping Ji instantly. At once, the expressions of the righteous Path Gu immortals who were not fighting changed. Xianxia's head fell to the floor, separated from his body. The headless corpse was spewing out blood as it twitched continuously. Xianxia had died with his eyes wide open. Nian Air Ping Ji's sword light continued to shoot forward, moving with imposing aura. The next one dead is you. Nian Air Ping Ji said lightly, his clear voice resonated in the sky. The second unlucky person was also a demonic Path Gu immortal. But Nian Air Ping Ji had already revealed himself, such disturbance could not be hidden. Thus, the demonic Path Gu immortal did better than Xianxia, he managed to retreat for a while before Nian Air Ping Ji caught up to him and killed him in one strike. The righteous Path Gu immortal's expressions changed again. A Gu immortal from Lu tribe, Lu Zhuanshen, smiled towards the sky. Nian Air Fu, this person is the newest generation sword child from your Nian Air tribe. Bam! Fog and smoke burst out, there was a voice that came from within. This was a rank 7 Gu immortal, but from his appearance, he was very young, resembling a fat 5 or 6-year-old boy. The fat boy chuckled, he looked around sneakily, answering in a mature tone, indeed. This lad obtained the sword Saint True inheritance, and was kept in the tribe by my first supreme elder for 10 years. Therefore, when he came out for the first time now, he is excited to this frenzied degree. Lu Zhuanshen and the others' expressions changed mildly, they transmitted to each other. Sword Saint Nian Air, we were still discussing it earlier, this person was a rank 8 Gu immortal of Nian Air tribe. He was like He Fan in history, leading Nian Air tribe to become among the forefront of the righteous path in northern plains. Sword Saint Nian Air was a prodigy, he had once cultivated light path, but switched to sword path successfully. After he died, he left behind the sword Saint True inheritance, it has an extremely difficult and deadly test, it is rare to have actual inheritors for it. It is said that this sword Saint True inheritance is split into 3 portions. After the first round, and obtaining the first portion of the sword Saint True inheritance, one will be known as the Sword Child. To think that after 300 years, a new Sword Child true inheritor appeared in Nian Er tribe. Wariness rose in the righteous path Gu immortals. If this person is allowed to continue developing, in the future, he will definitely be an active person among the Northern Plains righteous path. If he can progress and become rank 7, if he passes the second round and inherits the second portion of the true inheritance, he will become the Swordmaster true inheritor. Nobody in the whole of Northern Plains would dare to look down on him. In fact, the Sword Child with just rank 6 cultivation was already a force to be reckoned with. In just a short time, he had once again killed another demonic path Gu immortal. Nian Er Pingji roared with enthusiasm. He was extremely confident. He moved quickly, being one with his sword. Only sword light could be seen darting around, his body was a blur. Sword light changed directions, towards the closest demonic path Gu immortal. Sword light penetrated the demonic path Gu immortal's body, but he showed a cold smile. Junior, just because you killed a few weaklings, you gained the courage to challenge me this brazenly. Old Monster Corpse Poison said this as purple smoke rose up from his terrifying injuries. The purple smoke dissipated, healing his body. But Nian Er Pingji's sword light shattered, revealing his true appearance. Nian Er Pingji's appearance could finally be seen. He had sharp brows and clear eyes. He was a handsome young lad. Bleck. He suddenly covered his mouth with his hand, but he could not stop the purple poisonous blood from flowing out of his mouth and nose. Fight me again. Nian Er Pingji was heavily injured, but his eyes were burning with flames of enthusiasm. Then I will kill you before seeking the treasure here. Old Monster Corpse Poison smiled sinisterly. Hee, youngsters these days, they are truly fearless and ignorant. Nian Er Fu took a glance before retracting his gaze. Next, his figure disappeared in the air, before appearing beside Xianxia's corpse at the next moment. Nian Er Fu stretched out his fat little arm, waving at Xianxia's corpse. Immediately, Xianxia's body and head was held up by a formless force, flying into Nian Er Fu's immortal aperture. Youngsters are so energetic, they don't even want their loot. This is a Gu immortal's corpse. Even though his immortal Gu cannot be obtained, all of his Dao marks are still here. He. Nian Er Fu shook his head. Even though he was a rank 7 Gu immortal senior, he was a greedy person. Even when Nian Er Pingji and Old Monster Corpse Poison were fighting, engaging in a tough battle, he did not help, but instead, he was taking the Gu immortal corpse that Nian Er Pingji had left behind. Die. Die. This is mine, nobody should try to take it from me. I, Meng Ji, am here, who dares to fight me? The scene was getting more chaotic, because after Nian Er Pingji attacked, the other righteous path Gu immortals also started taking action, entering Iron Eagle blessed land. This way, all sorts of conflicts rose up, battles occurred over all sorts of resources. The cries of eagles could be heard continuously. A desolate beast peacock raised its head, showing a deep human emotion of desire in its eyes. This was naturally the peacock flying immortal Hiroa. So many Iron Crown Eagles. Hey Tribe's Iron Eagle blessed land truly lives up to its name. Hiroa thought, if I can enslave all of these desolate beasts. Iron Eagle blessed land had less space on the ground and much more in the sky. The resources on the ground were much less valuable than the ones in the sky. Hey Tribe's Gu immortals did not show themselves, but they had mobilized all of their Iron Crown Eagles, sealing the sky. Large numbers of desolate beast Iron Crown Eagles flew in the sky. Anyone who trespassed was assaulted intensely by them. Because of this, most of the demonic path Gu immortals chose to take action on the ground. They wanted to first obtain the resources on the ground. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. To Hiroa, the Iron Crown Eagles held immense attraction. Because in her cultivation plan, her next transformation was the Iron Crown Eagle transformation. The desolate beast peacock flew in the sky. It was fast. In a moment, Hiroa attracted the attention of several Iron Crown Eagles. Hiroa was alert internally. She quickly retreated from the Iron Crown Eagles that she lured. She was alone, she could not fight so many desolate beast iron crown eagles. She planned to lure one away and fight it alone, slowly capturing it. This is Affinity Wood. Murong Xianxia landed, looking at the rootless tree growing in the pond, her eyes shone brightly. Fairy Murong, you are very perceptive, that is it. A lone cultivator Gu Immortal answered. He was named Yunliang, known as Cloud Gentleman. He had arrived before Murong Xianxia. He was concentrating on collecting the affinity wood here. Murong Xianxia saw that Cloud Gentleman Yunliang was taking action. She did not obstruct him, she only watched quietly. She patiently waited until Yunliang succeeded in keeping all of the affinity wood. I am ashamed for making Fairy wait. Cloud Gentleman Yunliang said with a polite and warm attitude. Murong Xianxia smiled. To tell the truth, this affinity wood is only a rank 6 immortal material, but it is very suitable for me. I wonder if we can spar an. Cloud Gentleman smiled. Before Murong Xianxia finished her words, he said, affinity wood is very fragile, the collection process cannot have any interference. Fairy, if not for your patience, how could I have obtained it? We can spar. If you win, I will hand all of the affinity wood to you. Murong Xianxia shook her head, no need for everything, I only need half. Fairy, please. Gentlemen, please. The two fought without using their true strength, a victor was not decided. Cloud Gentleman Yunliang gave half of the affinity wood to Murong Xianxia, both of them left with satisfaction. The vast majority of righteous path Gu immortals conducted themselves with a lot of self-restraint and politeness. Nian Air tribes Nian Air Pingji and Nian Air Fu were exceptions among the righteous path. Even though righteous path was flourishing in northern plains Gu immortal world, suppressing the demonic path and lone immortals, the righteous path Gu immortals who came just now could not match the numbers of the demonic path and lone immortals. The reason was, the rest of the Huangjin tribes had their own territories and resources to defend. Even though the righteous path had many Gu immortals, they had to guard different places, only these people could be sent out in the end. In contrast, the demonic path and lone cultivators did not have such problems. There was another reason, the super forces had huge assets, they had mortal forces under them. They were quite tolerant towards lone demonic immortals and lone immortals. As long as their benefits were not touched, they would not fight it out. Gu immortals were not easy to kill. If a grudge was established, they would go and attack their territories. It would be a huge headache even for super forces. As the saying goes, he who is down need not fear falling. On the other side, Unfettered Scholar and Pai Shui Han had decided a victor. Pai Shui Han had a brand new immortal killer move, but he could not compete against Unfettered Scholar's trademark killer move, 1000 Disintegrations. Pai Shui Han snorted, directly leaving without hesitation. It was not worth going all out just for some simple resources. Even though demonic path Gu immortals were free, they often worked alone. When calamities and tribulations descended, they had to rely on themselves. They were not like righteous path forces with Gu immortals in their tribes to rely on, and seek help from. Thus, demonic path Gu immortals and lone immortals were very wary of their calamities and tribulations. They often calculated the cost of fighting. It was okay to fight over resources, but if the immortal essence expenditure was too high, they would not proceed with a losing deal. In the sky of Iron Eagle Blessed Land, the immortal Gu House Golden Dawn Hall was still floating at the original spot, shining with dazzling golden light. Gu immortals of Gong tribe and Baizu tribe had not acted, they were talking inside the hall. Gong tribe's Gong heir was already anxious, but he showed nothing on his expression, mentioning casually, everyone is fighting over Iron Eagle Blessed Land's resources on the ground, there is barely anything left. Is your tribe not going in yet? Baizu tribe's Gu immortals looked at each other, shaking their heads and smiling. The precious resources inside Iron Eagle Blessed Land are in the sky. Hey tribe's Gu immortals have not appeared yet, the battle is just in the middle stage now. Gong Air was amazed and surprised. Even though this Baizu tribe was in the righteous path now, protected by Heavenly Lord Baizu, its foundation could not compare to the Huangjin tribes. At this moment, Baizu tribe's Gu immortals were acting calm and composed, with no anxiousness or hastiness at all. It was truly confusing. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1107, Hey Tribe's Huge Battle, 3/3. Chapter 1107, Hey Tribe's Huge Battle, 3/3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Fourth 1. Peacock flying immortal Hiroa took down another Iron Crown Eagle. She was feeling very happy. Desolate beasts were not common. In the northern plains 10 great fierce areas, desolate beasts lived in groups, few Gu immortals dared to venture into them. And wild Iron Crown Eagles and the ones Hey tribe nurtured had different battle strength. And because Peacock Flying Immortal had good battle tactics, she made great gains, capturing 4 Iron Crown Eagles. Hey tribe is famous for raising Iron Crown Eagles. I really wonder how they did manage to raise so many Iron Crown Eagles here. Hiroa sighed as she looked towards the sky. There were still large numbers of Iron Crown Eagles flying in the sky. They were a huge group. Hiroa capturing 4 was nothing to the group. Strange. Hey tribe's Gu immortals had not appeared since the beginning. Even after I captured 4 Iron Crown Eagles, they are not going to care. Hiroa was wary. She was not overwhelmed by happiness over victory. Suddenly, there was a loud sound. A figure clad in wind and lightning rushed towards the eagle group. Hiroa's pupils shrunk. She recognized this person. It is Anew Gu. Heh, they are in for trouble. Anew Gu came from Anew tribe, part of the Huangjin bloodline, and a super force. Anew Gu had a small head and big belly. His body was disproportional, his eyeballs were popping out, while his limbs were dry as twigs. He had pale skin resembling a sick person, without any hint of pinkness on his face. But looks were deceiving. He was a famous expert among rank 7 Gu immortals. He was on the same level as Unfettered Scholar and Pai Shui Han in the demonic path. Anew Gu's charge angered the Iron Crown Eagle group. At once, more than 50 Iron Crown Eagles charged towards him. Anew Gu was shocked. He did not expect that he would draw so much attention. The eagle group attacked, casting huge shadows and shrouded Anew Gu's vision. In the moment of crisis, Anew Gu used his signature immortal killer move. His body inflated rapidly, expanding to 6 times of the original, making Anew Gu look like a highly pregnant woman. Anew Gu stretched out his hand, patting his belly. Boom! A loud sound with huge sound waves caused the eagle group's movement to halt. Boom boom boom. 3 huge sounds were made, sound waves spread out one after another. The eagle group's momentum was interrupted, their formation became messy and disorganized. Anew Gu growled, as the surrounding Iron Crown Eagles instantly felt dizzy. Next, he flew rapidly away from the gaps between these eagles, getting out of their encirclement. The eagle group chased for a while, before returning to their original spot. Anew Gu had already landed on the ground. He was sweating as he looked at the sky. His belly had shrunk already, but he still felt some lingering fear. On one side, one voice could be heard. Anew Gu, why are you so pathetic? Anew Gu looked over. He saw that the person was over 8 feet tall. He had bright red pupils and dark blue skin, with purple hair and sharp fangs. Anew Gu snorted coldly. Enough sarcasm, Guancho. If you have guts, charge in like me. Guancho snickered. 2 fists cannot rival 4 palms. I am not as stupid as you. You. Anew Gu was furious. He stared at Guancho, his eyes spewing fire. Guancho laughed coldly, staring at him fearlessly. Anew Gu was a famous righteous path rank 7 expert, cultivating sound path. Guancho was not weaker than him. He cultivated transformation path. The 2 were Gu immortals from Guan tribe and Anew tribe respectively. They had an equally strong background. As expected of a famous expert, even though he looked troubled, he is unharmed. Hiroa saw everything. She quickly retracted her gaze. Anew Gu is here, and Guancho's attention is also on these Iron Crown Eagles. This means that the resources on the ground are mostly taken already. Hiroa quietly retreated. She was only a demonic path Gu immortal with rank 6 cultivation level, she did not dare to get too close to these two righteous path experts. Iron Eagle Blessed Lands battle continued to rage like wildfire, all sorts of battles of different scales were unfolding. Some battles ended with a winner and a loser, while other battles involved deaths. Some made great gains, while some escaped with heavy injuries. On the ground of the Blessed Land, resources were dwindling. Some bottom-tier Gu immortals were eliminated, either dead or injured, some wisely chose to retreat, while others had methods to preserve their lives, they hid somewhere and observed the situation quietly. More and more Gu immortals placed their focus in the sky. Countless greedy gazes swept through the Iron Crown Eagle group in the sky, as well as the hidden round ball wooden eagle nests that were concealed by the Eagle group. The scale of the Eagle group was huge, this was the accumulation of He tribe after countless years, they had expended so much time, effort, and fortune into it. These were among the most valuable resources in Iron Eagle Blessed Land. Even people like New Air Gu could not block the attacks of the Iron Crown Eagles. The number was too great. Of course, it was also because New Air Gu was unwilling to waste immortal essence. His goldfish eyes looked down, seeing more and more Gu immortals, he shouted, "There are too many Iron Crown Eagles, He tribe's Gu immortals have not shown themselves yet, we should all go ahead and split up this Eagle group among ourselves." I concur. Unfettered Scholar was the first to respond. The two were in the righteous path and demonic path respectively, but in this situation, they came to a consensus, they should first deal with the Eagle group and get the benefits. The Eagle group was huge, there were many Gu immortals, if they worked together, these Iron Crown Eagles were meat on the chopping block. Someone struck first, causing the start of the battle between immortals and eagles. Huge attacks were unleashed, driving intense fights. Eagles screeched shrilly, while humans were also yelling loudly. Attacks of all elements were shot out, lightning flashed as golden lights flickered. Outside the Blessed Land, Gong Air sat inside the Golden Dawn Hall, looking down. In his vision, there were rainbow-colored fireworks that covered the whole sky. But there was intense killing intent in the fireworks, at times, Iron Crown Eagles died, their bodies were cut into pieces, while some Iron Crown Eagles were also captured. Gong Air's eyes shined. Scenes of battles between the righteous path, demonic path, and lone immortals were secretly recorded by him using hidden Gu worms. This was precious intelligence. Ever since the collapse of 88 True Yang Building, large numbers of immortal Gu were obtained by Northern Plains Gu immortals. After Qin Baixing held the auction, Gu immortals obtained the resources they wanted. After some time of adapting, many Gu immortals gained new methods, their battle strengths had increased drastically. Gu immortals who were doing the same thing as Gong Air were not few in number. Everyone had the same intention. Intelligence was very important. Be it other super forces or lone Gu immortals, in most cases, knowing what immortal Gu your opponent had meant that you could find a way to counter them. Even if you did not have any ways to do so, it was still good to be on guard against them. Gu immortals fought the Iron Crown Eagles as they observed, collecting information. Underneath the intense battles were undercurrents of plots and schemes. Gu immortals were assessing themselves and their enemies, confirming their status in the current Gu immortal world. After this period of cultivation, did they get stronger or weaker relative to others? Who could be bullied, while who could not be trifled with? Iron Crown Eagles were just the material gain at present, while information was a long-term gain. Gong Air watched for a while, feeling more and more impatient. The three Baizu tribe Gu immortals beside him had not moved at all since the battle in He tribe's headquarters started. Just now, he brought Gong tribe's Golden Dawn Hall in order to gain great benefits, that was the only way to make this trip worth it. Gong Air could not stand it anymore, he pointed down, telling the Gu immortals that came with him, Iron Eagle Blessed Land is taking damage, there are over 1,000 flaws created. But now, not a single He tribe Gu immortal has appeared, this is very strange. Go down and assist our comrades, and preempt He tribe's scheme. We of Gong tribe are the leaders of the righteous path, we have to defend our allies. Yes. The 2 Gong tribe Gu immortals immediately acted. The 3 Baizu tribe Gu immortals sat there inwardly laughing to themselves. The outcome of this He tribe battle was decided from the beginning. Even if something strange happened, there was no danger. Gong tribe's Gu immortals acted like this out of their own interests, they had selfish motives, but they still wanted to pretend to be grand and selfless. At the same time, at the highest area of Iron Eagle blessed land, He tribe's Gu immortals were gathered, they looked at the battle, they had heavy feelings and ugly expressions. Why is he not acting yet? At this stage, he has not done anything yet. Don't tell me, our agreement has been cancelled. Some He tribe Gu immortals asked this, feeling uneasy. He had already agreed, with his status, he will not go back on the agreement. Let's watch first. We set up 3 layers of defense, the Iron Crown Eagle group is only the first. He tribe's first Supreme Elder and second Supreme Elder spoke, calming the immortals. Hiroa transformed into a desolate beast peacock, spreading her wings and fighting with 3 Iron Crown Eagles. This was just a small part of the huge battlefield, and she was just an insignificant Gu immortal among countless others. In the absence of rank 8, rank 7 experts were the strongest, some rank 6 experts were attempting to gain benefits along the periphery. Suddenly, there was a weird fragrance. Hiroa's heart jumped, she quickly held her breath. I'm poisoned. Sensing this, Hiroa quickly used her healing Gu worms. 3 Iron Crown Eagles cried out, in an instant, they could not exert any strength anymore, they fell to the ground weakly. A figure flew into the sky, capturing these 3 Iron Crown Eagles and stuffing them inside his immortal aperture. It was Old Monster Corpse Poison. He laughed sinisterly, purple gas coiling around him. After collecting the 3 Iron Crown Eagles, he looked at Hiroa with an evil grin. Hiroa's heart shook, she felt her body turning cold. He, young lady, come with me. Old Monster Corpse Poison breathed out air towards Hiroa. Hiroa had just suppressed the poison in her body, when she suddenly lost control of her body, she felt weak and fell towards the ground after Old Monster Corpse Poison blew at her from a distance. I was too greedy. I wanted to obtain more Iron Crown Eagles and placed too much of my attention on them, neglecting the surroundings and being sneak attacked by Old Monster Corpse Poison. Seeing that she was about to be captured by Old Monster Corpse Poison, Hiroa felt deep despair. At this moment, a sword light flew over. The sword light was fast as lightning, it boldly pierced through Old Monster Corpse Poison's body, before turning into Nian Er Ping Ji 100 steps away. Old Monster Corpse Poison was bursting with rage, little rascal, you are still finding trouble with me. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1108, Tragic. Chapter 1108, Tragic. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Because of his interruption, Hiroa managed to suppress her poison and quickly escaped, regaining freedom. Nian Er Ping Ji's body was tattered, one of his arms was corroded until only bones were left, his face was turning purple, he was deeply poisoned. But he raised his head and looked at Old Monster Corpse Poison, saying arrogantly, you cannot leave until a victor is decided. Old Monster Corpse Poison was furious, but within his anger, there was also regret. Why did he attract this psycho? Every sword child in each generation is crazy. But this one is crazier than the rest. Far away, Nian Er Fu shook his head, waving his fat little arms. An Iron Crown Eagle screeched in fear, it flapped its arms desperately, trying to escape, but with the power of Space Path, the Iron Crown Eagle vanished, entering Nian Er Fu's immortal aperture without resistance. Old Monster Corpse Poison's method was vicious, he attacked Nian Er Ping Ji, but most of his attention was still kept on Nian Er Fu secretly. Nian Er Ping Ji had rank 6 cultivation level, even though he inherited a portion of the Sword Saint True inheritance, he was not the match of a rank 7 expert like Old Monster Corpse Poison. Nian Er Ping Ji could survive until now because Nian Er Fu had been assisting him from a distance all along. Nian Er Fu was a space path Gu immortal. He had a deep cultivation level, with countless methods at his disposal. He was looting resources all over the place, gaining a huge fortune, while protecting Nian Er Ping Ji, preventing Old Monster Corpse Poison from dealing a fatal blow. Old Monster Corpse Poison felt more and more regret. Right now was a precious opportunity that one would not see in 100 years, but he was fighting with a Gu immortal here, while others were looting resources all over the place. Old Monster Corpse Poison was famous and had a deep background. He had once joined Zombie Alliance as a living person, before betraying them later on. Northern Plains Zombie Alliance tried to capture him, but failed each time. Nian Er Ping Ji and Old Monster Corpse Poison fought, the battle getting more and more heated as time passed. Even though he could not win, he had become famous from the fight. From now on, Northern Plains Gu immortal world would know that Nian Er tribe had produced such an incredible genius. Actually, Gu immortals from other super forces would not offend a demonic path Gu immortal so thoroughly. But Nian Er tribe was different. This Huang Jin bloodline tribe was different from the other Huang Jin super tribes. Their tribesmen lived in blessed lands or grotto heavens. They did not occupy any territory in the outside world of Northern Plains. This way, they had little reservations. Even if a demonic path Gu immortal wanted to attack them, they could not. After all, there were few methods to enter immortal apertures. Even if one could get in, they would be in the enemy's territory. They would lose a lot of their advantage inside. Youth is really wondrous. Nian Er Fu sighed. He spoke with an aged tone, but he had the appearance of a chubby boy. It was a really weird sight. Only Old Monster Corpse Poison could feel his terrifying power. During this battle, Nian Er Fu had already attacked dozens of times. Not only did he save Nian Er Ping Ji's life, he even successfully injured Old Monster Corpse Poison secretly a few times. After capturing several Iron Crown Eagles again, Nian Er Fu's field of vision was cleared. A huge round ball wooden eagle nest was floating in the air, without any defense. I had heard of He tribe having this special rearing method. They use some sort of metal or ore, immortal materials that could increase the rate of the Iron Crown Eagle's reproduction and speeding up the rate of their growth. What kinds of precious immortal materials would be in this nest? Nian Er Fu was about to move, when his expression suddenly froze. A figure moved like the raging winds, flying out of the nest before him, rapidly leaving towards the horizon. Demonic Path Gu Immortal Huifeng Zi. This was a rank 7 wind path expert, publicly recognized as the fastest person in Northern Plains. Even Yao Huang could not stop him. He had first joined Shadow Sect, before submitting to Heavenly Court. His identity as a traitor had not been exposed yet. In a situation filled with chaos, Huifeng Zi could act freely like the wind. Not only was he fast, he was agile. He displayed the greatest advantage of wind path to its limit. Soon, Nian Er Fu saw that Huifeng Zi easily passed through countless obstacles, entering another eagle nest. Sigh, this lad is simply blocking me from my fortune. Nian Er Fu gazed at Nian Er Ping Ji, sighing loudly at the sky. The battle between humans and eagles came to an end. The number of Iron Crown Eagles decreased. All of the round ball wooden eagle nests were invaded by Gu immortals. Good, good, good. It is the rank 7 immortal material domination copper. Gu immortal Shi Ho cheered. He had made great gains. This damned Huifeng Zi, he dares to snatch what is mine. Meng Ji was furious. He stared fixedly at Huifeng Zi who was flying away. Huifeng Zi did not speak, but he felt very troubled. He did not touch that eagle nest. It seemed that someone who had already sneaked in made him take the blame for their actions. Within the round ball wooden eagle nests, there were rank 7 immortal materials in each one, either metals or ores, and they were huge in quantity. Gu immortals made great gains. They expressed joy on their faces. This was simply a feast. They were looting all of He tribe's hard work. The stronger the Gu immortal, the greater the gains. The law of the jungle in the Gu immortal world was displayed here in full view. He tribe's Gu immortals were deadly silent. They looked at the round ball wooden eagle nests that were fuming with smoke. Some had fallen to the ground, some were incredibly damaged, spinning in the air. These nests were the pride of He tribe, the symbol of their strength. But now, they were trampled and snatched away. Anger. Indignance. Hatred. Fear. All sorts of emotions were in these He tribe Gu immortals, they almost could not breathe. Enough. A He tribe Gu immortal stood up abruptly. He had a huge body, he looked around with an angry gaze, fixing it on First Supreme Elder. When are we going to wait until? You are counting on him. Can't you see? He had agreed to us on purpose, so that we would not keep the resources according to the agreement. We are trapped inside the blessed land and cannot leave. This is a scheme, he is toying with us. Everyone, where is your courage? Are you not angry? Don't you feel hatred? Will we sit here and wait for death, or go out and fight like courageous heroes? This is our home. But now, these outsiders are plundering and destroying it. Tai Sheng. Second Supreme Elder had a complex expression, he called out to this furious He tribe Gu immortal. First Supreme Elder, say something. He Tai Sheng stared at He tribe's First Supreme Elder with an indomitable gaze. Everyone also looked at First Supreme Elder. He tribe's First Supreme Elder was silent for a while before saying, in this situation, resources are just external things, so what if we give them up? If we do not receive his help, we will have no place in the whole of Northern Plains. We will wait and see. He Tai Sheng heard this and his body shook, he took in a deep breath, stabilizing his body. He did not feel rage now, just intense sorrow. Seniors, in my humble opinion, I think that Lord He Tai Sheng is right. This time, a rank 6 Gu immortal from He tribe spoke. I have the same opinion. If we do not fight now, when will we wait until? The worst case is death anyway. More and more He tribe Gu immortals stood up. He Tai Sheng saw this and felt a strong surge in confidence, his gaze regained its sharpness. You. Second Supreme Elder was shocked. First Supreme Elder remained silent. He Tai Sheng suddenly laughed loudly, 3 layers of defense. Even if we have 30 layers of defense, what can we do in this situation? Go. Let's face these enemies. How can He tribe's glory be tarnished? He tribe's resources are not so easy to take. They will pay with blood and their lives. He Tai Sheng took huge steps forward, he turned around and left the hall. 7 He tribe Gu immortals said nothing, but they followed him with firm expressions. First Supreme Elder, won't you talk to them? Third Supreme Elder was uneasy. Forget it, let them go. First Supreme Elder sighed, he seemed to have aged by 100 years. He tribe's first layer of defense was broken already, the Iron Crown Eagles were either dead, injured, or captured, none were left. The Gu immortals flew up higher into the sky, seeing dragon eagles. A large number of dragon eagles formed the second line of defense. So many dragon eagles. Someone's eyes flashed. Even though the dragon eagles are not as numerous as the Iron Crown Eagles, they are still a huge fortune. Someone critiqued. Some impatient Gu immortals had already started attacking. The Gu immortals gasped, some were surprised, they found something strange. These dragon eagles are not normal. That's right, I've interacted with desolate beast dragon eagles before, how can they be so hard to deal with? These dragon eagles have stronger vitality and faster speed, is that rumor from long ago true after all? The immortals were reminded by this, 50 to 60 years ago, there were rumors in Northern Plains Gu immortal world that He tribe had obtained a huge breakthrough in nurturing the dragon eagles, they created a brand new species of desolate eagles, they looked like dragon eagles, but were different. These are not dragon eagles, they are resonance eagles. These eagles were not created by He tribe, they were the fruits of my Qiao tribe's labor. A Gu immortal said with much anguish. Everyone looked over, it was Qiao Dong. He was a righteous path Gu immortal, the first supreme elder of Qiao tribe. Qiao tribe was a subordinate of He tribe, long ago, Qiao tribe had wanted to leave He tribe, and were taught a lesson by He Cheng, who went to pressure them. No wonder Qiao tribe and He tribe had a conflict, there was lots of hidden background information. The immortals had differing expressions, but they said nothing about this. The law of the jungle was very common after all. This Xiao Dong could become an immortal because of He tribe's support. Now that He tribe was in trouble, he joined in and attacked Iron Eagle blessed land. Most righteous Path Gu immortals, the supreme elders of the Huang Jin tribes, looked towards Xiao Dong with coldness and animosity. They did not like people who bit the hand that fed them. But behind Xiao Dong, there was Lu tribe's Gu immortal, Lu Xuanshen. With a single glance, it was obvious that Xiao Dong was now under Lu tribe. Lu tribe and He tribe had a poor relationship. Xiao tribe was a subordinate of He tribe, but now that He tribe was going down, Xiao Dong went over to Lu tribe. It was not strange. This traitor deserves death. At this moment, a thunderous voice came from afar. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1109, Humph. Chapter 1109, Humph. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. No sooner said than done. A shadow resembling a mountain crashed towards Xiao Dong. In an instant, Xiao Dong was immobilized. He could only scream, "Elder Lu, save me." Lu Xuanshen swiftly appeared in front of Xiao Dong, his body shone with white light, causing all of the darkness to fade away. "Hey Tai Sheng, with me here, you cannot harm Xiao Dong." Lu Xuanshen looked at the person with intense battle intent. The Gu immortals started stirring. Be it the Dragon Eagles or Resonance Eagles, they were not important. The important thing was, He tribe's Gu immortals had finally acted. With the rank 7 Gu immortal He Tai Sheng as the leader, 7 rank 6 Gu immortals followed behind him, standing before the immortals. He Tai Sheng looked around. Before his gaze fixed on Lu Xuanshen, he snickered, asking, "Is that so?" Lu Xuanshen's expression turned to shock. He turned around and looked. Xiao Dong was still standing behind him, floating in the air, but his expression had frozen with shock. He had no vitality left, he was dead. Immortal killer move life-draining darkness. Lu Xuanshen shouted before feeling intense anger, but his anger soon faded as only sadness and admiration remained. He and He Tai Sheng were old rivals. They had fought for more than 100 times. He was clear that this life-draining darkness was powerful, but it could not be used easily. Each activation had a huge cost. Lu Xuanshen had never seen He Tai Sheng use this trump card at the start of the battle. From this, he understood, his rival for many years had prepared himself to die. He had the mentality of killing as many enemies as possible before going down. He Tai Sheng looked Xiao Dong. The morale of the He tribe Gu immortals behind him rose. He Tai Sheng was an experienced person. Using this chance, he used his methods. At once, the Resonance Eagles formed into groups, moving in formation. Each of the He tribe Gu immortals went to an area and defended territory. With Gu immortals here, the second line of defense stabilized. They were hard to deal with. This made many Gu immortals who invaded He tribe furious. Ruining a person's wealth was like killing their parents. This hatred was huge, and because He tribe was weak, they lost their only immortal Gu house dark prison. The only problem was Green City Rampage. But in this situation, He tribe was only struggling at death's door. "I'll fight you." Pai Shui Han pounced. He waved his hand, as tides began to form, charging towards He Tai Sheng. The tides flew into the air and stopped, turning into glaciers as the temperature fell. Be careful, this is Pai Shui Han's signature killer move, Flood Glacier. A rank 6 Gu immortal from He tribe shouted. He Tai Sheng laughed lightly. He and Pai Shui Han had deep enmity too. He was not surprised that Pai Shui Han attacked him. He is just a loser, so what? He Tai Sheng's eyes shined with dark light. He did not move, he only looked over. The white glacier was covered with black water. In a few breaths' time, it disintegrated. Pai Shui Han grunted, spitting out a mouthful of blood, falling from the sky. Against so many enemies, consecutive killer moves are not easy to use. A figure appeared behind He Tai Sheng. It was Huang Di. This was the rank 7 demonic path Gu immortal who communicated with the other demonic path members, entering Iron Eagle blessed land first and causing the righteous path to lose the initiative. He had earned immensely. Right now, he was using the chance to attack and kill He Tai-sheng. He Tai-sheng did not move, he did not even turn around, he only waved his sleeves. Immediately, dark light burst out like waves, sending Huang Di far away. Huang Di struggled to get out of the black tide, showing shock on his face. His 7 orifices were spewing out black blood, he drilled into the ground without even a bit of hesitation, vanishing. Simply a rat, what can you do? He Tai-sheng snorted, looking around, shouting, who is next? Nobody came. He Tai-sheng had incredible battle strength, he was even stronger than Pai Shui Han. The immortals could tell, this person was prepared to die, he was oozing with fighting intent and was fighting without reservation. In this situation, his battle strength was at its peak. Why did everyone come to Iron Eagle blessed land? To gain fortune. If their goal was fortune, why would they fight with this person to the death? The Gu immortals moved away, evading He Tai-sheng. Battle commenced. One side was the collaboration of righteous and demonic, they had great numbers, but He tribe had the territorial advantage and large numbers of desolate beast resonance eagles to help them. Battles raged on. He tribe's Gu immortals were all prepared to die defending their home, their battle intent was high. The demonic path Gu immortals just wanted a fortune, they did not want to die, they were heavily restricted. The intelligence of Gu immortals could not be matched by Iron Crown eagles. At once, the second line of defense was extremely stable. He Tai-sheng saw that everyone was avoiding him, so he approached them instead. Meng Ji, hand over your life. He Tai-sheng shouted angrily, pouncing towards the Meng tribe rank 7 Gu immortal who was closest to him. Humph, would I be afraid of you? Meng Ji fought back courageously. Boom boom boom. The two fought as the sky rumbled, intense shock waves were sent out. After several rounds, the proud and arrogant Meng Ji turned around and fled. He was courageous, but He Tai-sheng was beyond courageous, he was a lunatic not afraid of death. He fought with Meng Ji by causing injuries to both of them, he was trying to go down together. After several times, Meng Ji could not stand it anymore, he immediately retreated. He Tai-sheng was going to chase him, but he heard the He tribe Gu immortals cry for help, he turned around to help them out. Guan Chou, take this. He Tai-sheng charged forward, dark light burst out and engulfed the surroundings. Guan Chou was a transformation path Gu immortal, he had turned into a lion. He roared as he crashed into He Tai-sheng. At the next moment, the lion that Guan Chou had transformed into flew out like a rag doll. He Tai-sheng charged at him again. Guan Chou screeched, turning into a little bird and flying away. Coward! He Tai-sheng could not catch up, he snorted. His gaze swept around, he targeted the rank 7 Gu immortal who was closer to him, Lu Xuanshen. Lu Xuanshen was very perceptive. Seeing that He Tai-sheng was approaching, he retreated. He Tai-sheng chased after him, so Lu Xuanshen went over to Divine Lord Tiandu. Divine Lord Tiandu's body shook, he turned around and left. Lu Xuanshen then lured He Tai-sheng towards Unfettered Scholar, he snorted as a three-way battle started. Boom boom boom. A moment later, in an intense clash, Lu Xuanshen and Unfettered Scholar were forced back. He Tai-sheng continued to fight everyone, he was unstoppable. In the sky, He tribe's first supreme elder sighed, Tai-sheng, this child. He knew that He Tai-sheng had a special technique, he could expend his lifespan to increase the power of his killer moves. He was fighting by consuming his life. The righteous and demonic Gu immortals did not want to die, that was true. But with just this reason, there was no way anybody could contest him. He Tai-sheng was a huge setback to the Gu immortals. These were all people with high cultivation level and impressive methods. In the earlier battles, the weaker Gu immortals were already eliminated. But no matter how strong He Tai-sheng was, he could not reach the level of rank 8. He could not turn around the situation single-handedly. Resonance eagles were captured or killed, while He tribe's Gu immortals died one by one. Fight. A fight to the death. Towards the end of the battle, He Tai-sheng was the only one left. He was bathed in blood, he stood proud and straight, looking at the Gu immortals around. He laughed loudly, "All right, come and kill me." The immortals looked around, but nobody moved. Lu Xuanxin's expression was complex. He knew that He Tai-sheng was already out of steam. His immortal essence was expended, he was not a threat. But he was unable to attack. He Tai-sheng moved his lips, "Then let me." Saying so, he charged towards the Gu immortals in front. Charge. His final charge. He died while charging. It was tragic. It was courageous. He Tai-sheng died, the immortals had no obstacles left, they went towards He tribe's final line of defense. 12 flying eagles blocked them. Enemy eagles with overflowing killing intent, absolute eyebrow eagles with divine aura, shadow eagles with indistinct figures, whale-swallowing eagles with huge muscular bodies. Without exception, they were all ancient desolate beasts, having rank 7 battle strength. He tribe's first supreme elder and the other 6 elders descended from the sky. At this moment, they no longer placed further hope in being saved, they came out to battle. Ancient battle formation, Green City Rampage. The top 4 supreme elders joined forces, their might could rival rank 8 Gu immortals. The righteous and demonic Gu immortals split up at once. Resources were more important. By now, everyone had already earned a lot, but they paid a huge price too. Their mental energy was depleted, their immortal essence was also expended. Who would fight against Green City Rampage in this state? Whoever got caught would simply be unlucky. In the sky of Iron Eagle blessed land, there were 12 eagle nests that were in peculiar shapes. These eagle nests were not round ball wooden eagle nests, they held precious rank 8 immortal materials. Immediately, countless Gu immortals fought over them. The battle was a chaotic mess. Green City Rampage went on a killing spree, lots of unlucky people died in the top 4 Supreme Elders' hands. Humans die for wealth and birds die for food. This is too dangerous, let's go, let's go. Nian Er Fu grabbed the unconscious Nian Er Ping Ji as he sneakily retreated. I cannot stay here. Pai Shui Han also retreated, he had obtained some eagle nests, and had gained large amounts of rank 8 immortal materials. Some astute Gu immortals were leaving. The 12 eagle nests were all lost. Suddenly, in the air, there were ripples as a 13th eagle nest appeared, drawing everyone's attention. The immortals shouted, pouncing over. This is mine. Chu Du suddenly appeared, blocking all the immortals. Ah, domination immortal. The immortals were shocked, stopping their movement. Chu Du was powerful, far stronger than He Tai-sheng. Lu tribe's entire strength as a super force could do nothing to him. In the entire Northern Plains Gu immortal world, only people like Qin Baisheng could fight him. At this stage in the battle, everyone was in poor conditions. But this was the first time Chu Du was acting. At once, nobody dared to go forward. Chu Du successfully deterred the immortals, it was to obtain this mysterious 13th eagle nest. Green City Rampage came crashing, a voice was loud as thunder, Chu Du, you dare. Chu Du laughed coldly, why wouldn't I? Boom! The two sides clashed, the giant that Green City Rampage transformed into was sent flying by Chu Du in one move. The ancient battle formation is powerful, but it is powered by you people. In your condition, none of you can match me. Chu Du stood arrogantly in the air, looking at the immortals. The immortals wanted to attack, but they also wanted others to do the work, so that they could reap the benefits. Simply a mob. Chu Du commented, before going ahead to grab at the eagle nest behind him. Suddenly, a shocking change occurred. An immortal Gu house appeared, crashing towards Chu Du's head. Modest thatched hut. A Gu immortal yelled. He recognized that this was Dongfang tribe's former immortal Gu house. Scram! Chu Du slapped, creating a huge sound. Thud! Bam! Modest thatched hut was actually sent flying by his slap. Gasp! Everyone took in a deep breath of shock. Chu Du successfully placed the 13th eagle nest into his own immortal aperture. Next, his gaze fell on Green City Rampage. The 4 Supreme Elders felt a wave of despair. Wait! Just as Chu Du was about to deal the killing blow, a voice resounded in the entire place. An immeasurable aura, like a formless mountain, enveloped the entire area in an instant. Rank 8 Gu Immortal, Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu. The immortals were shaken, the identity of the voice appeared in their minds. At this point in the battle, a rank 8 Gu Immortal had finally shown up. It was not certain that he came in person, after all, only his voice was heard. Wasn't it agreed upon that the rank 8 great experts would not personally interfere? Some righteous path Gu immortals who knew some inside information were confused. At the next moment, the immortals heard Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu's voice. He tribe's battle ends here, the remaining members of He tribe have submitted to me. From now on, this is Bai Zhu tribe's territory. We are willing to change our surnames to Bai Zhu. He tribe's elders responded. The immortals were shaken. This matter was huge. The situation in Northern Plains Gu immortal world would immediately change. Smarter people knew, Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu could say this because he had come to an agreement with the other rank 8 great experts. No need to leave, I am holding a banquet for 3 days and 3 nights for everyone. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu said again. The remaining He tribe Gu immortals' faces twitched. This battlefield, which was still filled with blood from the battle earlier, was going to hold a banquet. The change was too sudden and abrupt. Congratulations to Bai Zhu tribe, congratulations to Heavenly Lord. The righteous path Gu immortals quickly came to an agreement, giving many responses. The demonic path and lone immortals were uneasy and agitated. Humph! Chu Du snorted coldly, it was loud and shrill. He left with a billowing of his sleeves. Under everyone's gazes, he flew away into the horizon. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 11:10, Rank 8 Gu Immortals cannot be schemed against. Chapter 11:10, Rank 8 Gu Immortals cannot be schemed against. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Ha, he is domination immortal indeed, I am leaving too. Amidst the silence, Hui Fengzi laughed loudly. Next, winds moved around his body, assisting him in his quick departure. Countless gazes focused on him as well. Hui Fengzi was the fastest person in Northern Plains. Yao Huang had once tried to capture him but failed. That was Hui Fengzi's greatest and proudest achievement. Chu Du and Hui Fengzi had huge guts. They did not give Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu face. The other immortals had differing ideas, but nobody dared to leave. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu did not say anything, he watched as they left. He tribe's first supreme elder quickly shouted, reporting to Heavenly Lord, forget about Hui Fengzi, but Chu Du has taken the 13th eagle nest, He Fan true inheritance is inside it. The immortals heard about this and went into a commotion. They secretly started conversing quietly. Everyone had heard of He Fan's reputation and fame. This person was the pride of He tribe's history. He was the one who led He tribe to their current status as a superforce. If he was still alive, who would dare to attack He tribe? No need to worry, I know about that. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu spoke again. The tone of his voice was extremely calm and plain. First Supreme Elder's heart jumped, his lips trembled, he wanted to speak, but no words came out of his mouth. Second Supreme Elder suddenly said, reporting to Heavenly Lord, Iron Eagle blessed land is about to break apart. If we set a banquet here, it might not last for even half a day. Don't worry, we have already been prepared long ago. At this time, 3 Gu immortals appeared together. The immortals took a look, showing expressions of realization. These three immortals were none other than the three Gu immortals from Baizu tribe. During the entire battle in He tribe, they were watching from the side. It turned out that they were following Heavenly Lord Baizu's orders. They were in charge of settling the aftermath of the battle. Next, Baizu tribe's three Gu immortals worked together, unleashing an immortal killer move. The killer move's effect showed immediate result. In a moment, Iron Eagle blessed land which was shaking and breaking apart managed to stabilize. Seeing this, a lot of the righteous and demonic immortals had changes in their expressions. This immortal killer move had incredible effect. This was the first time they were seeing it. It had never been used in past records. They realized that Baizu tribe did not just have Heavenly Lord Baizu alone, the other Gu immortals were also formidable characters. Gong Air greets Heavenly Lord. Next, Gong tribe's Gu immortal Gong Air came forward alone, entering Iron Eagle blessed land and paying respects towards the sky. In the absence of rank 9, rank 8s were the dominating overlords. Gong Air was a proud person, but facing a rank 8 existence, he had to be polite, even though he was feeling moody on the inside. During the final moments of the Battle of He tribe, Gong Air wanted to use the immortal Gu House Golden Dawn Hall to snatch the resources inside. But the Gu immortals of Baizu tribe smiled as they told him not to act rashly for his own sake. Gong Air would naturally not listen to them, but soon, he received a message from Prince Fengxian. The content was, "Do not act rashly, otherwise, you are making enemies with Heavenly Lord Baizu. If Heavenly Lord Baizu is displeased and kills you, you deserve to die. I will definitely not take revenge for you." Gong Air heard this and did not dare to act, even though he was extremely unwilling internally. He had suffered a huge loss of face. He had mobilized Golden Dawn Hall to come here and control the situation, but his effort did not match the gains that he had. Originally, Gong Air wanted to act as the leader of the righteous path, but the other Huang Jin bloodline Gu immortals paid no heed to him at all. Baizu tribe's three Gu immortals listened to him and went into Golden Dawn Hall as guests. Even though this gave Gong Air some face, the three immortals had hidden intentions. Gong Air represented Gong tribe. He had to come out. When he greeted Heavenly Lord Baizu, he felt extremely displeased towards Prince Fengxian. Damn it, curses. This time, I completely lost to Prince Fengxian. Humph, he is not one of us after all, he is just a son-in-law of Gong tribe, an external supreme elder in our tribe. Normally speaking, super forces with family-based systems rarely had external supreme elders. This was unlike Central Continent sects, they could easily take in others as their external supreme elders. External elders who joined super clans or tribes usually had a close relationship with one of the tribe's Gu immortals. For example, they could be husband and wife, or blood-sworn brothers. Fairy Jiangyu had once joined He tribe. She had been He Cheng's concubine on the surface. Prince Fengxian's true identity was that of a spy from Spirit Affinity House that had entered Northern Plains Gu immortal world. He was in charge of the great plan of looking over Imperial Court blessed land, and controlling 88 True Yang building. In his early days, he had become the husband of a female Gong tribe immortal. Under Spirit Affinity House's secret help, he had become a rank 8 Gu immortal. He stayed out most of the time and did not interact much with Gong tribe. Prince Fengxian stayed inside his own Fengxian grotto heaven. He did not pay attention or communicate with his Gong tribe wife. He only stayed with his two female attendant Gu immortals, Yulan and Luyao. Gong tribe was very unhappy because of this, but Prince Fengxian was a rank 8 Gu immortal. Gong tribe's Gu immortals could do nothing but hold in their anger. This time, after old ancestor Shuehu defeated the combination of Yao Huang and Heavenly Lord Baizu, Gong tribe came up with a plan. They went ahead to brag that Prince Fengxian was the only person who could defeat old ancestor Shuehu. This way, they could use Prince Fengxian's reputation to elevate Gong tribe's status in the righteous path. Secondly, they could also force Prince Fengxian to become enemies with old ancestor Shuehu. If the two of them fought, regardless of victory or defeat, it would benefit Gong tribe. This plan hit two birds with one stone, but could a rank 8 Gu immortal be schemed against so easily? This time, Gong Air was taught a huge lesson. Prince Fengxian secretly came to an agreement with Heavenly Lord Baizu. One could guess that Heavenly Lord Baizu definitely paid a price for it. Prince Fengxian concealed this matter, not informing Gong tribe about it. He sacrificed Gong tribe's benefits and kept the gains for himself. But at the crucial moment, he sent a letter. He did not leave behind any evidence that could be used against him. Gong tribe could only endure this silently. After all, Heavenly Lord Baizu only gave face to Prince Feng Xian. Gong tribe did not have any other rank 8 expert. Strength was the foundation for talking on equal terms. The 3 Baizu Gu immortals stabilized Iron Eagle blessed land. It was not only safe now, they even started to repair it. For the next 3 days, Iron Eagle blessed land held a huge banquet. In He tribe's former headquarters, Baizu tribe's rise was declared. The intention was quite extraordinary, there was profound meaning behind it. Almost all the Gu immortals joined the celebration, other than exceptions like Domination Immortal and Huifeng Zi. Other than these two, there could have been others. For example, the mysterious Gu immortal who appeared during the battle in He tribe, the person who controlled modest thatched hut. It was unknown whether they were hidden among the immortals now, or whether they had left secretly already. The righteous path Gu immortals mostly joined in the celebrations on the first day before taking their leave. Gong tribe with Gong Air as the leading Gu immortal was the first to leave. When they left, Gong Air walked with confident steps, but people could tell that Gong tribe was in a dejected state. The second was Nian Air tribe. Only 2 Gu immortals from this super force came to He tribe. One was the rank 7 space path Gu immortal Nian Air Fu, while the other was the current generation sword child, Nian Air Pingji. Even though the latter had only rank 6 cultivation level, he had gained much reputation in this battle in He tribe. He became famous overnight. But he paid a hefty price. Old Monster Corpse Poison stared at Nian Air Pingji with much hatred. He was gritting his teeth. The grudge of both parties was immense now. Meng tribe, Yuan tribe, New Air tribe, Yi Lui tribe, and the others took their leave one by one. Lu tribe, Yao tribe, Guan tribe, these 3 tribes Gu immortals attended for the entire banquet, staying until the end. After 3 days and nights, they took their leave. They gave Baizu tribe ample face. It was because these 3 tribes were different from the other Huangjin tribes. They were quite close to the current Baizu tribe's territory. They needed to establish good relationships. As for the demonic path and lone immortals, they left entirely after 3 days and nights. The stronger they were, the earlier they left. There were also certain Gu immortal experts who stayed back, attempting to get close to Baizu tribe. If it were the other Huangjin tribes, when holding a celebration, they would not invite all of these people. But Heavenly Lord Baizu had been a lone immortal in the past. The lone immortals and demonic path Gu immortals could accept his invitation and stayed here. See you. Until we meet again, forgive us for not sending you off. During these 3 days, Iron Eagle blessed land had been completely repaired. The blessed land's entrance opened. He tribe's Gu immortals and Baizu tribe's Gu immortals stood at the entrance, speaking in polite tones as they sent off all of the leaving Gu immortals. The leaving Gu immortals, regardless of their faction, sighed to themselves. After this battle in He tribe, the entire situation in Northern Plains Gu immortal world changed. He tribe's Gu immortals surrendered. They had to send off these Gu immortals who invaded their homes. They definitely felt uneasy and unhappy. Heavenly Lord Baizu made them do this. He was humiliating them. Among them, He tribe's first supreme elder could feel it the most. During the battle in He tribe, he suffered the heaviest injuries. Heavenly Lord Baizu personally used his healing methods to heal the rest of the He tribe's Gu immortals, except him. He was pale. He sent off the guests in an injured state. He spat out blood from time to time. He looked so pathetic, all of his face was gone. He tribe's first supreme elder understood. I purpose exposed the fact about the He fan true inheritance earlier. I wanted Heavenly Lord Baizu to attack Chu Du. If he was killed, we could take revenge for Chu Du's invasion. If he failed, and Chu Du escaped, with his personality, he would definitely exact revenge on Baizu tribe. To think that Heavenly Lord Baizu chose to do nothing, he knew that this was my scheme. Thus, he has been suppressing and punishing me secretly these last 3 days. Sadness, pain, hatred, fear, all sorts of emotions tangled together and filled He tribe's first supreme elder. After sending the final Gu immortal off, Gu immortals of He tribe and Baizu tribe went to meet Heavenly Lord Baizu. In the highest level of Iron Eagle Blessed Land, the original discussion hall of He Tribe, everyone met with Heavenly Lord Baizu. Greetings to Heavenly Lord. The immortals stood on the spot, paying their respects. Everyone has worked hard. Heavenly Lord Baizu sat at the highest position. He smiled. From now on, He Tribe's Gu immortals will change their surnames to Baizu. He Tribe's resources have been taken by Northern Plains immortals, that is an established fact. This is also the result that I had gotten after negotiating with the other rank 8 experts. In the future, you cannot use this as an excuse to take revenge. The immortals quickly responded in acknowledgement. Heavenly Lord Baizu paused for a while before saying, but the He Fan true inheritance is not a small matter, it involves a rank 8 expert. Even if I do not cultivate Time Path, I can use it as reference. Ignore Chu Du for now, I already know the location of He Fan Grotto Heaven. After some time, we can forcefully attack it and obtain everything inside. Heavenly Lord Baizu did not anticipate obtaining the He Fan true inheritance. This true inheritance could not even be obtained by He Tribe's own members, not to mention him as an outsider. The true benefit was He Fan Grotto Heaven, and the countless resources accumulated inside. This was enough to entice any rank 8. He Tribe's first Supreme Elder heard this and felt incredibly shocked. He Fan Grotto Heaven's location is the biggest secret in our tribe. Including me, only the rest of the top 4 Supreme Elders know. How can Heavenly Lord Baizu learn about it? Don't tell me, someone secretly submitted to him before this? This secret was told to him. Learning about this, He Tribe's first Supreme Elder felt a chill going down his spine, his body shuddered in fear. He knelt on the floor immediately, kowtowing to Heavenly Lord Baizu in an extravagant manner. I have failed in my task, I am greatly at fault. Please punish me, Heavenly Lord. Oh. What failure is it? Heavenly Lord Baizu looked at He Tribe's first Supreme Elder, showing an expression of a vague smile. He Tribe's first Supreme Elder felt cold sweat on his forehead. He could not tell the Heavenly Lord Baizu about his scheme 3 days ago, that would be offending the great expert. Thus, he shifted the topic. In this battle in He Tribe, we anticipated that Fang Yuan would appear to reap some benefits. In the entire battle, we had used investigative immortal methods continuously, but we could not find him at all. I have failed in capturing Fang Yuan, it was my mistake. Heavenly Lord Baizu smiled. Your investigative method is quite unique, it can actually expose an otherworldly demon. I am afraid that Fang Yuan truly did not come. That is a pity, if he appeared, I would have captured him. With this bargaining chip, I would not have to pay such a huge price. As it turned out, He Tribe and Heavenly Lord Baizu had already discussed to set a trap against Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan was the culprit behind the matter of Imperial Court Blessed Land. It was widely known, the Northern Plains Gu immortal world knew that Fang Yuan had fixed immortal travel and spring-autumn Cicada. He Tribe's battle was an opportunity not seen in hundreds of years. To think that Fang Yuan did not come. This was out of their expectations. After all, Fang Yuan had fixed immortal travel, it was easy for him to show up. They did not know about the matters after the Battle of Etion Mountain. Right now, fixed immortal travel was in the hands of Heavenly Court. As for the investigative immortal killer move that could expose an otherworldly demon, it also had a peculiar origin. He Tribe had once had an otherworldly demon. When he was a mortal Gu master, he displayed incredible talent and attracted the attention of the higher-ups. The Quartet Sparrow battle tactic that he came up with was a game that the top 4 Supreme Elders of He Tribe loved. They could not stop playing it even until now. After soul search, He Tribe's Gu immortals found out that this person was an otherworldly demon. Thus, He Tribe's Gu immortals did thorough research on his body. Even though his life was lost in the process, they obtained an immortal killer move that could expose an otherworldly demon. This secret was only known by He Tribe's top 4 Supreme Elders, the rest of the He Tribe Gu immortals did not know about it. Heavenly Lord Baizu continued, never mind that Fang Yuan did not come here. Your He Tribe was smart and knew to join my Baizu tribe in the nick of time, it is a good thing. 3 days later, I will help you get rid of your problem. You will be able to separate and move on your own. Don't worry, As long as you sincerely forget the past and live on as a Gu immortal of Baizu tribe, think in the interests of our tribe and contribute to the tribe, I will definitely notice and reward you for your hard work. Yes. We obey the orders of Heavenly Lord. Hey Tribe's Gu immortals quickly responded. Hey Tribe's first Supreme Elder even knelt on the floor, shouting loudly with an attitude of gratitude and joy, Heavenly Lord, you are magnanimous, you forgave us for our incompetence, we are truly in awe at your grace. You even thought about our problem and are going to help us resolve it, you are truly the savior of our tribe. Saying this, he kowtowed with his head heavily hitting the floor, tears were flowing endlessly down his cheeks. But inside, he felt icy chills. Heavenly Lord Baizu was highly skilled, he immediately wanted to get rid of their Green City rampage. This formation would no longer belong to He Tribe's top 4 Supreme Elders from now on. Heavenly Lord Baizu was extremely pleased, he allowed them to leave after saying some words of encouragement. He sat and did not move, he was thinking in his head. He Tribe's Gu immortals have just joined us, their status fell drastically, they are definitely not in a tranquil state, they will need a lot of time to adjust to their new life. However, it is good that He Tribe's first Supreme Elder has this attitude now. My effort of suppressing him was not wasted, I can spare his life. It is too bad that Fang Yuan did not show up, otherwise, if I could capture him, my gains would be greater. Now, I can only pay the price myself. To ensure that the other rank 8 experts did not act, Heavenly Lord Baizu paid a hefty price, he felt pain thinking about it. However, there can only be gains after putting in the investment. Right now, Baizu tribe finally has the foundation to firmly stay in Northern Plains. And there is also He Fan Grotto Heaven, if I can take it down, my losses will be replenished. Of course, I cannot rush this, I need to let the tribe recuperate now, and ensure that there is peace. After this battle, I have gotten on the nerves of the righteous path. If I attack He Fan Grotto Heaven now, the other rank 8s will not watch me quietly from the side. Thankfully, He tribe lost all of their fortune now, the righteous and demonic immortals are satisfied by their gains. These forces would conflict and restrain each other, for the short term, they will not find problems with Baizu tribe. Heavenly Lord Baizu thought about all these things, in this short period of time, he clearly assessed the circumstances of Baizu tribe and himself, he was clear about his goals, and was prepared to start his future plans. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in the report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.